Rush. Y'all didn't hear the 3-2-1 beforehand, but if you know San Francisco Rush or Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA for the N64, you're in the right place, my friend. 3, 2, 1, Rush.
Let's jam. Dun, 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 dun.
An even better piece of media that starts that way. So that's probably how we should have just started it. Welcome to another Talk Tuesday. Welcome back to the Experience Point. It's still me, and it's still loading podcast. I see that.
I think that's been your go-to for a few now.
Yeah, this is like 3 or 4.
Don't stop though. It's good. It's all gold.
Yeah, gold. Maybe silver, sometimes bronze, depending on how often I use it.
Silver and gold. Silver and gold.
Well, pretending like we haven't just been talking off mic, how the F are you?
Oh, I'm actually pretty good. Pretty good. There's some stuff that's going on with the fam that we're stressed about, but by comparison to what it has been for like a year and a half, been pretty good. Been pretty solid the last couple months.
Nice.
How about you?
Rock solid, would you say? Has it been rock solid? Has it been hard? Have you been erect? Is your penis erect, Josh?
That's always when I'm talking to you.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying.
That's what I like to hear and see.
Looking at myself in the reaction, like the camera looks terrifying.
Well, you guys are unlucky because you can only see these squares of us. I can see Josh's whole body, and he's bare ass naked from the waist down, and it's glorious. Could you imagine?
Absolutely. That's the only way to stream, baby.
Yep. Well, it's funny you say that because I, on Monday, not yesterday Monday, but last Monday, I can't believe I forgot to tell you this on Tuesday. I forgot to wear pants for my stream. It was so hot, and it only got hotter. It's been so hot. Like, I just come home, de-pants, just because it's, I'm in the comfort of my own home. Started streaming. Uh-oh. What's going on?
Nothing. My dog came in, and now he's walking out. Hold on 1 second.
Now he's walking. No one's going to hear about me not having pants on. And my goods were just out for the world. If you weren't there, it was a good time.
All right, I'm good. No, he was gonna lay down next to me, but he was gonna lay down on something that I'm gonna show later for what have you experienced? That when we get to kind of the meat of tonight, and I didn't want him to lay down on it, so I wanted to move it, and I put it on the front of my desk, and I didn't put it up far enough, so it just slid right off, and that's the big thump you heard. I'm like, God damn it, and then it freaked him out. No, Harvey, you're okay.
I thought that was your Johnson hitting the floor.
Well, my Howard Johnson,
yeah. Richard Johnson.
my dick.
My dick. Playing through the Halo games for her the first time, I'm realizing far too late that I'm pretty sure Sergeant Johnson, his name is a dick joke because he's the only black person in the fucking universe, apparently. Sergeant Johnson.
I mean, isn't that all sci-fi? There's no people of color in sci-fi.
Apparently not. Definitely not in Star Wars. But no, he's based off, and most of that first game is based off of Aliens. Like, he's essentially just the sergeant from the look into my eye. I love that guy.
Fun fact. The actress in Aliens, I forget the character's name. Who's the character who's kind of like the buff chick? That carries like the machine gun and she's like fucking ripped.
Oh, Vasquez. Yeah.
Vasquez. That's played by a white Jewish woman.
I learned that far too recently too. I was so mad. I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Still one of the best lines of all time with the "Hey Vasquez, have you ever been mistaken for a man?" No, have you?
Fun fact, Matt Gorley, previous guest of my show.
Oh, fan of the show.
Friend of the show. Friend of the show. No, personal fan. I'm just a gigantic fan of his, obviously. But on his I Was There Too podcast, he interviewed the actress who played Vasquez.
Oh, sick. Nice. You were like,
I cannot
wasn't she
remember her
brown?
name.
Yeah, me either.
I
Where'd
think
your
I
tan go?
don't remember. I don't remember if they touch on it or not. If they talk about the the kind of like racial part of it, I don't know. I don't know if they talk about it or not
Yeah.
at all. So I'm gonna try to see if I can find the actress's name just so I can make sure to give her proper credit. Jeanette Goldstein.
Yes. I'm inclined to imagine that they did not talk about that on that podcast. Hey,
I
you're white. Why were
I don't know.
you playing a Hispanic woman?
No, but but if she brought it up, type of thing, like
Yeah.
if she one of those things where if she talks about it, and then now I would never have done something like that type of thing. Blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to re-listen to the episode. Another fun fact, just because I'm on her IMDb page, she voices Dr. Jean Grey in X-Men: The Next Dimension video game.
Oh, interesting.
That's
I can see that.
while. Yeah, I don't know if she does. Let me see if she's done. And she's also been in a Star Trek video game,
Okay.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
Real Heroes Firefighter, where she plays Esmeralda Ezzy Vasquez.
No.
Okay, maybe didn't learn her lesson. In
And
2009.
She's Vasquez again, which I'm sure is just an Easter egg.
That might be just an Easter egg type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she plays a Typhon engineer in a Star Trek video game. Those are her 3 video game credits according to Wikipedia.
I know next to nothing about Star Trek, which I'm hoping to remedy soon. I have a friend where I'm still kind of working up, or he's working up to the idea of being on camera for this. But we are gonna at some point do. He's a big Trekkie, and he's like, I know that you would like Star Trek, and I was like, I know that you would like Kamen Rider and or Super Sentai. So we might do some kind of media trade, like a quarterly quest for us, where he's just, or more like a fight or flight, because I'm going to show him a fight or flight. But I was like, why don't we go through the decades and like pick, because they both kind of started around the 70s, a little earlier for Star Trek. But I was like, if we went through the decades, pick like a couple episodes of like, the best or your favorite episodes from a series that aired in that decade, watch I don't know, 3 or 4, make a day out of it and just have like a sampling, and then I'll show him some Super Sentai and or Kamen Rider, so hopefully soon I'll be a Trekkie. I know I'm gonna like it. Like it's sci-fi. It's pretty hard for me to not like it.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep leaning over because my corgi is literally right next to my chair, and he's laying on like the leg of my rolling chair, and it's just like the cutest thing. So I have to pet him every like 30 seconds.
That's fair. That's valid. Honestly, I mean, we could just end here if we want to. Just like, I'll make a little post like, "Hey, sorry, we had to end early. There was dogs that needed petting."
Yeah. If my room wasn't so messy and it wasn't so hard to like take my webcam and like get some slack and like put it down, I would show you Harvey because he's very cute.
Yeah, I'll
but then
show
you would
you
see
Harvey.
my Johnson because I'm pantsless, as we already
That's
talked.
true. It's not the leg of the chair that he snuggled up against. It's actually something else. It's a different piece of hard wood.
Different piece of hardware.
Yeah. I am also glad that you said something about being a huge fan, because that reminded me that my AC was on and I just turned it off because I could hear it last time.
I couldn't, if it makes you feel better.
It does. Makes me feel marginally better. Sorry, everyone who had to endure the sound of my comfort in the last episode.
I do think your Streamlabs is going to pick up your audio more, because Discord automatically has like a sound filter,
Yeah.
like a noise filter. So like right now my AC is going on and it's loud as fuck.
Oh, wow. I can't hear a thing.
But you can't, because it has a really good noise filter on Discord.
Yeah. Nice. Does it,
Yeah.
like, if you clap, will that pick it up?
Let's find out.
Whoa! Dead silent. That's so weird. Oh, I heard that one.
Picked up.
Yeah. That's so weird. Yeah, that's a really cool
that-
feature until it starts glitching out and suddenly it's like cutting people off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oy, oy, oy.
Well,
So, what did you experience this week, Andrew?
I have experienced a great deal of pain. I know, I was telling you off, Mike. think I overdid it a bit on my arm. I got myself slinged
You were
up.
rollerblading again, weren't you?
I'm not ready yet. It's gonna be a lot of physical and mental healing before I get the skates on again. But as soon as I can, I have been kind of dying to be active again.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like between work and like I'm trying. If I don't work, I don't make money. So like I'm trying to push myself, and like I worked all day on the computer on Monday, and like am able to like move. It's my mouse hand. So like when I use one hand, it's like I'll use the mouse with my left hand. Then I got to switch to my keyboard because when I'm designing, it's like I need the mouse and the keyboard at the same time for my shortcuts and stuff. It takes fucking forever to do it one hand at a time, so I'm like able to kind of do it with two hands. And if I do that for too long, I was telling you off mic, like I went to bed and I was like, I feel like I just broke it again. So I should probably take it easy. I streamed last night for like for like an hour and a half, and the first like 15 minutes of it was me beating Shenmue. Like I was so close to the end without realizing it. I like the Shenmue portion was maybe like 25 minutes to a half an hour, and gameplay wise it was only like probably 5 minutes. I had like one more fight, and then
sorry, I can take care of that bot while your
I
arm
got
is incapacitated.
I already got him. My left hand still got it.
Still left in.
Still left. Still we are still left. In more ways than one here on the Experience Point. But yeah, well, that's the first thing that I experienced aside from pain was beating Shenmue for the first time. So I feel like
how was your experience with that? Like I know that game is like known for like being really far ahead of its time, but because it's so far ahead of its time, there's a lot of rough patches.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's because it was it is very ambitious. It's super cinematic. It's almost to a fault. Very I don't want to say cozy, but it's very like you kind of just play at your own pace. You can progress the story when you want, when you're not just walking around and talking to people and playing gotchas, and which for how laid back and grounded it is, it's weird that it's like also a revenge story. Like, it's like the opening cutscene, your dad is killed by this guy, and he's like, I'm gonna get revenge, and it's like, oh, sick. And then he's like, I think I'll take a walk around town and see if I can, and he's just walking around and asking people if they've seen a black car 70,000 times.
He's making his way downtown, walking fast.
Playing gotcha and arcade.
And he's homebound.
Yeah. Shout out to White Chicks. The demographic, not the movie. I thought that was funny. So, yeah, it's very cinematic. It's very kind of chill. It's almost like a simulation more than a video game, like a life sim. Like, and then at least until you start getting into like the thick of the plot and the combat and stuff ramps up. But even then, it was like I continued playing it because it was such a relatively chill game that I could I'm like, yeah, I can press the X button every like couple of minutes or so. Like that's totally fine. Most of the time I'm just running around. I could do that with my broken hand. And then I get to like the end of the game and it's like you literally have to do a 70-man battle royale at the very end, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, it hurts so bad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And I didn't take it seriously enough, so I died on the very last guy and had to start and do it all again. So I had to fight 140 guys, or I guess 139. And it was wild. And then when I ended off last Monday, something really cool about the experience of playing this for the first time was I got a bunch of first-time viewers. It's an obscure game with a very loyal, passionate fan base. So a lot of the times, a new person would come in and be like, "Oh my god, it's so cool that you're playing this for the first time. I love this game. I love watching people play this for the first time." And so when I was ending the stream last Monday, I was like, and it was getting kind of late, and you know, it was a lot of plot heavy stuff, that big fight, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, I think I might have to call it." And then the guy, one of the random people who came in, was just like, "Yeah, you probably still have like an hour left," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine. I can do an hour next time. That's a little bit low. Maybe we'll figure out what to do." It was like 5 minutes. I watched the cutscene,
wow.
did one fight, watched another cutscene, did a quick time event, watched the last cutscene, and then the credits rolled. I was like, okay, I guess I probably should have just finished it off last week. But now Shenmue is a 7-part video on YouTube. So, but it's been a blast. It definitely is very janky in in more ways than not. It's janky in an endearing way, and it's kind of part of the experience. And I was talking about this, last night when I beat it. I was like, "What? How do people over here say that the janky voice acting and the weird delivery is part of the experience?" But it's kind of this bit of goofiness and a bit of kind of like Metal Gear Solid, like a bit of melodrama. That's like, we all know it's like kind of goofy. That's part of the charm. Like in Japan, when that came out, was it hyper serious? Like, are you like, this is the drama of the century? So I'd love to know from a native Nihongo no speaker, what their perception of it is. But yeah, I'm really stoked to stoke the fires of the second game. I don't know if I'll play it anytime soon. I was trying to think of something I could start for Main Quest Monday that I can play with one hand, and I'm probably either, and I'll start either of these probably tomorrow night for Wildcard Wednesday, in case I don't want to stream the whole thing. I'm either probably going to start Final Fantasy VI, or it may finally be time for Expedition 33, I think is how you say 33. I forget. I've forgotten all of my French, and I've replaced it with Japanese over the years.
Parlez-vous Nihongo?
Parlez-vous Japango? God. Oh, God. I thought the Dodestica couldn't get any worse. Hey, arigato. Hey,
Dodestica's also over there.
Hey, arigato gozaimasu.
I got some Yubinkyoku over here for you.
We're gonna get the Daitorio. We're gonna get the Yubinkyokus. We're gonna go fucking crazy on the Dodestica.
I'm gonna get you a Shinkansen.
Yeah. And now it's a Shinkansen.
Shinkansen. Watch it actually follows through with it. You get like a full bullet train in your meal.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
It's actually just a sub.
Hey, that was good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you beat it. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. I feel like the Sega snipers have been called off for now. It's been a hell of a time telling people that I'm a big Sega fan, and then having to admit I haven't played Shenmue. But from what I hear from the fans that have come by, the second one ramps up and is way better in every way. And then the third one is also a video game. So I'm excited to play 2 and 3. And I technically have played 2 way back in the day on the original Xbox demo disc. So I'm excited to see how this one shakes out probably freaking 25 years later.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? Anything you experienced? Oh, I know you got some show and tell after you.
Yes, I do.
Get
I
your
can.
Enormous dick out of the way.
Oh yeah. No, so I finished the book today. I'm going to be actually interviewing the author on the pod. Actually, on Thursday is when I'm going to be interviewing him. I don't know when, off the top of my head, when that episode will be out. It'll be sometime in August.
The
though.
Bible.
But or actually, no, it might be out later this month. Now that I think about it. Anyway, I finished I Am No Good: A History of Cheating in Video Games.
Oh, right. I am not good.
I am not good. Sorry, I am not good. Thank you.
I see the Game Shark.
By Nate Drake. No relation to Uncharted.
Right. And he's never played them, I think, right?
Yeah, Nate has never played Uncharted and has no plans to do so, is the very back of the book.
That makes me so upset.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him, but it also kind of like, man, it's a great game.
But also, like, how fast would you be lining up to play a video game as lauded as Uncharted if the main character's name was Josh Koval?
I don't know.
Oh, really?
I think it would be. I think it would depend on, like, if I knew about it beforehand and I jumped on it, absolutely. But like, if I hadn't played it and I heard about it like a year or so later, and then everyone fucking starts telling me like, "Oh, like from Uncharted," and motherfucker, I was born first. Get the fuck out of here. You know, like,
yeah, I guess I should have expected this answer.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
if I knew about it first, but if someone introduced it to me, I wouldn't like it.
No. You cannot put that on hipster Josh, because that would be like, that's like, fucking, you know, like, if someone hears your name and associates it with the same thing, and every person you talk to, oh, is it like this, and you hear it over and over and over and over again, you're gonna have, like, get tired of it. It's one of the reasons I could never get into the Big Bang Theory, because every time I would say I'm into geeky stuff, they're like, oh, like the Big Bang Theory? I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, I mean, that feels different,
that kind of,
but I see what you're saying. It would be really annoying. It would be really annoying.
That's what I meant.
But
like, so I'm speculating, but if in his shoes, I could totally understand if every time he introduces himself as Nate Drake and he's into video games, it's gonna be like, oh, have you played Uncharted? No, I haven't played Uncharted. What? And then then there's the same fucking conversation he's probably had 6,000 times. So
you'll have to ask.
I will be defensive about this, because that would drive me up a wall.
I think
too.
I think it would too, but I think
I do not play. I don't begrudge anyone for that.
Yeah, I think I probably would play.
Like, if it was something, like if it was announced and you brought it to my attention, or someone else brought it to my attention, I would be like, absolutely, let's fucking go. But like, I would have to be there on the ground floor. I don't care who tells me about it, whether it's I discovered or someone tells me about it, as long as I have to play it before I get talked to enough about it that it becomes the bane of my existence.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's what I was
fair.
trying to say.
You'll have to ask him if he wants to go by Nathan, but he goes by Nate just to slightly like disassociate himself from.
I'm not even going to bring it up.
You could be like, now let's address the elephant in the room here. You wrote this book about cheating. Have you been loyal to all of your partners? and then just not address it.
Your name is Nathan Drake. Your name is Nate Drake. But you wrote a book about shit, and then like set it up like I'll go with Uncharted and say his name.
Yeah. Your last name is Drake. Now, you actually are not a fan of hip hop, are you?
Are you a fan of dragons, like, you know, the Drakes from like World of Warcraft and stuff like that?
Drake. There is a video. You could say there is a video game, not very popular, but it's actually called Drake. It's on the original Xbox and GameCube and probably PS2.
Is that actually a game?
Yeah, it's like it was one of those. I'm sure there's a subtitle that I'm not remembering that I don't feel like looking up with one hand, but it was like a cell shaded kind of like the 13.
Drake of the 99 Dragons.
Drake and the 99 Dragons. Yeah, that was it.
Of the 99.
Yes, he was born of the 99 Dragons. In 1999.
It's an infamously bad game.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
I remember seeing demo footage of it and it looked pretty cool, but this was also, I was probably 13, so everything looks cool when you're 13.
But so I finished the book. Nice. Really fascinating. Like, genuinely, like, I'm not going to tell Nate this. I didn't like it quite as much as Nadia's, but I still like.
Ooh, I'm telling him.
I reviewed it on Goodreads. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I mean this without hyperbole. It changed my view of cheating in video games, because one of the points in the book. I'm not going to spoil everything for it. Obviously, go get the book. It's really good. It's also a little bit dry because he's a cybersecurity journalist, so it's like his very stuff. It's like very, like, his writing style is very direct. Like, there's not a lot of like storytelling to add emotion into things. It's just like, here's the points I want to make. I'm making them, and that's fine. It gets a little dry after a while, but That's really my biggest critique of it. But the reason it kind of changed how look at cheats and video game cheating is he kind of talks about how like cheats in video games aren't what they are now. Like now when we think
No.
about cheating in video games, we think about aim bots, we think
Yeah.
about people who cause other players to lag, we think about all the multiplayer games and the cheating in multiplayer to give one player an unfair competitive advantage over another player. Um, that's kind of what we associate with. But if you go back far enough into the 80s and 90s, they were essentially accessibility options,
Yeah.
is kind of what he talks about. And he talks about how a lot of cheats aren't cheats anymore. They're just accessibility options. And I thought, because how many people entered the Konami code in Contra because the game is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
So you got 30 lives so you could survive the game.
Yeah. That's why Nintendo Hard as a phrase became a thing. It was games like that and Ninja Gaiden.
He also talks about like the earliest known he talks about the earliest known as of right now cheat, which was in Colossal Cave Adventure, which was like XXYX, like XXYZZ or something like that. I forget the exact letters. But it was meant to skip like an opening portion of the game because apparently the developer's sister was like, she liked the game, but like she just wanted to get to the cave adventure part. And I guess there's like an intro part of the text adventure that's like the set up to that. She's like, I just want to go to the cave. I just want to get to the exploring.
Wow.
So this was a way to kind of jump almost like the introduction. I've never played Colossal Cave Adventure. But it's one of the earliest adventure games. I don't know if it's text adventure or otherwise, but it's one of the earliest adventure games ever made. It was like from the 70s.
Wow. Do you remember any? I can think of three off the top of my head. Do you remember any cheat codes from back in the day? Like obviously the Konami code's infamous, but are there any that you still remember?
Yeah. In Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, if you type in "That's No Moon," you get a Death Star unit that lets you move it around because it's a Star Wars RTS.
Oh, okay.
So it's Star Wars Age of Empires. So you get a Death Star that you can move around. And I remember one time I copied it so that way I could just paste and enter, and I had like 100 Death Stars that I sent.
Oh my god!
Over.
Those are no moons.
Actually, wait, no. You might only be able to have one on the map at a time, and the others. I don't quite remember the logistics of it, but I do know if you type in "That's No Moon," you would get the Death Star. In Diablo 2, there is a infamous one, or no, sorry. In StarCraft, there's a famous one. There is no cow level. Is the cheat?
Oh,
I forget what it did, but that's fascinating because they talk all about how. Because in Diablo 1, there was a rumor that there was a hidden cow level, that there was like these demonic cows that would attack you. And there was elements like Blizzard didn't do anything to kind of dispel the confusion because in the expansion for Diablo 1 Hellfire, it had this thing where you could get like this bovine leather or something like that, which was like a demonic bovine leather. So there was still no cow level, but it was something along those lines. So in StarCraft, to kind of poke fun at the fans, because it was Diablo 1, StarCraft, then Diablo 2.
Okay.
And I think Warcraft 2 was also somewhere in the middle of that. I don't remember quite when. I don't know all the timeline of the releases. But in StarCraft, they put there is no cow level. And then in Diablo 2, there actually is a cow level, like a hidden cow level that you can get to. And you have to like do this whole bunch of this stuff in game to access it. It's not a cheat. It's actually like a hidden secret that you can get to, which is kind of cool. He talks a lot about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
A lot about Mortal Kombat. How like specifically about Ermac and how like there was never a character Ermac. So there's a lot of talks about how like there was cheat codes to get these hidden characters. Freaking what is the company that did Mortal Kombat originally? I know now Ed Boon still does. What? Sorry. Midway. So it did not help that even though Ermac didn't exist in later versions of the first Mortal Kombat, what is it? Reptile appears, I believe. Like he wasn't in like the original like arcade version, but in later versions you could unlock him or something like that.
He was.
So there was hidden characters.
Yeah,
Sorry, you would remember more than you would know more than I would.
he appears as a secret fight in the first game. You have to get a double flawless without blocking on the pit stage. If something flies in front of the moon, like it could be a witch or a Santa Claus, and if you do that when that happens and do a fatality, then you'll fight Reptile, which really he was just green and he had Sub-Zero and Scorpion's moves and he was really fast. But then they made him playable in the second game and gave him his own more reptilian moves.
Yeah. But there was a lot of stuff that they did that like that made it more seem like, oh, Ermac was really hidden in the original Mortal Kombat. A lot of these rumors and like secrets that would evolve into like, because that's what's interesting about this is like the cheats isn't just like here's a cheat code. It also kind of like it's so intrinsically tied to the rumors and urban legends of gaming of the 80s and 90s, because you would have these cheat codes, whether it's Pokemon having to do a certain thing to like get, like he talks about the missing no glitch, like how the differences between glitches and cheats and stuff like that. It's a really interesting book. I do it the other criticism I would have is that it does jump around a little bit. It doesn't feel really like it's organized, but it's like I feel like they could have tweaked the organization a little bit. Like they could have made it a little bit more like coherent in my mind, because it felt like we were jumping. Honestly, it felt the way I talk, where I jump from one topic to topic without a sequitur that always makes sense. So I kind of unfortunately saw a little bit too much of myself in that, but it was still a really fascinating book. Like you just heard me rattle off a whole bunch of stuff that I still remember from it. Really, really enjoyable read. So if you're into that, like into video game history, this is like a really underspoken about part of game history. Like
these days anyway.
9 times in general though, like 9 times out of 10 though, when you like the extent of conversation about video game cheating is either aimbots or Konami code, bro. Like that, it's a joke. It's a reference. Like you see the Konami code thrown into things on Google and to things on like random bits, or like other codes from previous games reused again, to as an Easter egg instead of an actual cheat. That's fine, but like there's not really a discussion of like how cheating has evolved over the years, and this is the first book that I've seen that really kind of dives into that subject, and I thought it's fascinating. It was a really interesting book.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it, especially if there's an audiobook of it, which, you know, smaller books like this.
It's I can almost guarantee you there's none. If there is, it would be AI. That it would, and I don't know if it would be sanctioned, because I know for a fact the guy who published it, Brian Rigsby, who owns Retro Game Books, which you can't really see because my camera sucks. But the guy who published it, Retro Game Books, Brian Rigsby, he's definitely not someone who wants AI narrated anything. So I highly doubt there's any audiobooks of it, but it's very much worth a read. And it's a short book. Like, in fact, what's crazy is, so I don't know if you can see it. So actually, here's a better way. The book page count, the final page count, is 184 pages. Okay. But at page 132 is where the actual book ends. The other 50 are just the dude's research. This is all this right here is his like like the articles, like all his citations. That's the word I'm looking for.
What?
50 page. It's a lot. This dude did a lot of research.
Yeah.
Though I did realize I did not read the acknowledgments, so I will read the acknowledgments before I speak with him on Thursday. But yeah, nice. Dude did a ton of research, man. It's a really well researched book, super informative, super interesting, and it's like I said, it's a topic that like at the most we get on it right now is like surface level Easter egg jokes. Yeah. That's usually what it is. Or it is articles about the rampant modern day cheating, not the evolution of like what is. So
yeah. Cheating, like for me, video game cheats were like almost ubiquitous, like with gaming or synonymous. I don't know. Ubiquitous was the right word.
Yeah, no, like, that's
that was the first thing I ever looked up on the internet when we first got connected to the internet, was like trying to find cheat codes for N64 and Sega games. Like, I would just go and look at cheats of games that I didn't even have just to see like what you could do in them. Like I remember like Cheat Code Central and Game Facts, and before IGN it was called Game Sages. I still have a bunch of printouts. I have a whole thick ass binder of printouts of video game cheat codes and handwritten codes, like all the way back to like Sega Genesis with like I've said this one before, but the level select code in Sonic 2, 1965, 917, 4126 for all the emeralds, and then like Mortal Kombat 2, the secret menu, left, down, left, right, down, right, left, right, right. It's burned into my brain forever because it was so much of a part of video games, and a lot of the times it was just fun stuff, or like you said, convenience, accessibility of like, yeah, I don't want to have to start the whole game over when I die, so like, yeah, give me the infinite lives. Like, it's gonna make me enjoy the game more.
Or like, and what's even crazier is that it wasn't viewed as like, you weren't necessarily viewed like, yes, I would say if you beat the game with like infinite lives, then other players would be like, But if everyone did it, then it was like, that's just the common thing. Like, cheating in video games was almost like expected. Like, to use cheat codes was an expected thing of most gamers at the time.
Yeah. I remember this is another code that I remember actually, and then I forgot. I just remember something else about this. I forget if it's the first or second one, but one of the Vector Man games. Have you ever played any of those on the Genesis?
I have. They're very hard.
They are, but they're rad as hell. And I remember, I like when they do clever stuff, like where you spell things out, where it's like, oh, Luigi's apartment is here. Up, down, left, right.
What's up, Luigi?
Left, down, up. Super dunks in SNES, NBA Jam. Oh my, he's on fire!
Is it the shoes?
Is it the shoes? Boom, shakalaka! Yeah, or like being able to play as like Mortal Kombat characters in NBA Jam. But yeah, in Vector Man, there was one, I think it would like teleport you around, or maybe it would let you go through walls. It was something with transit, and I remember the code itself more than what it actually did. But you would type, you would do CA left left ACAB, so CALLACAB, call a cab, and it would let you like teleport around. Maybe it was like a level skip or something, but I will never forget the code itself. Oh, the love of my life is here too, joining from work tonight.
What's up, Polisa?
Hey, Polisa.
Hello.
Oh, saying her name feels weird because I always just call her Honey. Here's my girlfriend, Polisa. Hi, Polisa.
That's what I call you. I don't want anyone to be confused.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Turn that camera down a bit. And then another one I remember is in Toy Story on the Sega Genesis. The code is, you would spell out abracadabra. So an A, B, right A, D, A, B, A, right A. I don't know. You get the idea. Abracadabra with the buttons. And I was always like, oh my God, that's so clever.
The book also then progresses into like, so like cheats early on were like almost things that, you know, like that developers put in just so that way they could test the game in different spots. It wasn't necessarily something intentionally put in for gamers.
Yeah, like
and as people
modes.
discovered them, it kind of turns into like actual cheats. And then later on, as you get to the mid to late 90s, they're more for cosmetics, like big head mode or paintball mode.
Paintball,
right? Like, yeah, especially on like N64 shooters and whatnot, like that kind of thing. It is really interesting to see how cheating in video games has evolved, and to what it is now. Like, we really don't see cheats in video games anymore in the classic sense. We see them as like more cheating, like straight up like basic fraud
aim
of like competitive games
and no clip and
aimbots.
Stuff.
There was one that he said that blew my mind, that there is actually cheat codes in Red Dead Redemption 2, which I did not know about. But like, they're hidden in the game. You have to like get newspapers and then find the codes in the newspapers and stuff like that. I don't know where you enter it. I just finished today. I can't remember he said where you enter, but that blew my mind. I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. What a unique idea.
Yeah. Do you remember? Well, last I wanted to wrap something up with Vector Man. Vector Man was one of the first games, and still the only one one of the few that I can think of, where if you beat Vector Man with codes on, it would, like, after the credits, it would be like, nice job, now try to beat the game without cheating, you punk, or something like that. Like, it calls you out for doing cheats. And I remember
Conker's Bad Day also does that, which was obviously later than Vector Man, but yeah,
that tracks for that game. Do you remember the most recent game that, like, you did, like, proper cheat codes in? Like
Sonic 2. When for my upcoming episode of it later this year, I played Sonic 2 for backlog month, and I used the level select code.
Yeah, I mean, newest to be released.
Oh. No.
Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Because for me, it's close to Red Dead Redemption 2. It was GTA 5. Because that game still had cheats where you would dial numbers on your phone, and it would be like low gravity, or like, spawn with every weapon, or, spawn certain vehicles and stuff. And it's such a fun way to continue a game after you've beaten it. For me, like, I don't games don't usually have cheats these days anyway, but, like, even if they do, the most that I'm doing cheating wise is, like, I'll use save states to save time if I have to, like, other than that, like, conservatively using save states. I'm not talking about, like, you get in a tough fight and then making a save state every time not save scumming, but, like, if I don't feel like going all the way back to the freaking main menu or whatever, or if I get, like, what have you, older games where it's just like the only punishment is time, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's not, it's not my pride. It's not like, oh, I lost this fight because I wasn't good at it. It's like, okay, that now I'm just, when the only punishment's time, I don't really care. But aside from that, I think like, Grand Theft Auto has always
lends
had
credence to most cheats now are just accessibility options. Save states for, like, when there's ports of older video games to modern consoles, they usually add save states as a feature of the game.
Yeah,
or
rewind for like the Nintendo
or rewind. Yep,
Switch Online stuff.
Then there's also like on a lot of more modern games, like Naughty Dog specifically has a lot of accessibility options for people with different color, like color blindness, or like a vision accessibility. Or I know, rest in peace to a great one, Brandon Cole. I had him on the show a couple years ago. He's unfortunately since passed, kind of unexpectedly, but he was a blind video game consultant, and he actually, like, made Last of Us Part 1 and 2 blind accessible. So like, because they would have, like, essentially sound cues for them to listen, for the blind players or, like, vision impaired players to listen to and be able to know which direction, kind of in space, to move the character.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And it may sound silly, but I'm actually proud of asking this. And I told him flat out, like, I know this is an awkward question, but, like, since video games are so inherently known for their visuals, what do you like? What enjoyment do you get out of them? Like, and I don't mean this in a mean way, or like a, like, are you dumb for playing it kind of way. Like, I was just curious because it seems so antithetical to me. Like, right? Like, video games are a visual medium along with a bunch of other things. So how does someone who can't see like one of the most prominent parts of the medium experience that medium? So that was a really enlightening conversation getting to talk to him, and I'm so bummed that I don't know what he passed away from. He was a really good person. He actually stopped into one of my streams a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice.
To, like, after the episode had come out, like months afterwards, he just kind of showed up and said hi, and he was a really good dude. I found out too, like, so he was dating this woman for a long time, and I'm like they were basically married, and I forget how it came up. It came up somewhat naturally. I'm like, you're not married? He goes, no, if we get married, because of my disability, our taxes we would end up paying more in taxes or some shit like that. I'm like, I hate that. What? I'm like, that makes no fun. It's wild. So, like, for tax purposes, they didn't get married.
America.
It was essentially common law marriage at that point, but, like, they didn't get married because of it. It was wild. So rest in peace to a phenomenal one, Brandon Cole. Like, absolute legend of a human. genuine and kind, and
Oh.
like just I don't know. Reading this book, just parts of it reminded me of him. So shout out to
Pour one out for a
Brandon
real
Cole.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he
I
was a
was
good dude.
thinking about that, and I'm like, I wonder if, like, if there are games that blind gamers end up really liking, despite, like, if there's a game that comes out that plays like shit and looks like shit, but if it has enough accessibility to play blind, they might love it despite things that we as seeing people would write them off for. You know, like
Hmm.
if it feels cool to them, you know, like I wonder if there's any games like that. I mean, there's not
Yeah,
many that have that level of accessibility. Like the only two I can really think of are Last of Us and like Street Fighter Six. Actually, did a really intensive accessibility initiative, like where
yeah,
it's again sounds that are based on like different tones will be like to tell you like what attacks your opponents are doing, how far away you are
yeah,
from them. It differs in like, you know, up and down on the scale, and also in loudness and in like rapid succession if they're close, you know, or far away. I can't even imagine. You know, I can barely play that game at a decent level, and I can see. So, that's so cool. Pour one out for a real one.
yeah.
Uh,
He was an awesome dude, and it's honestly,
yeah,
I
I
don't know. It's surreal, and not to make it about me. I just speaking from my own experience. I guess it's just like that's someone who I've had on the show who was like I think younger than me, and he's gone. Like that's
wow.
really weird. I don't think I've ever like there might be one guest I've interviewed that has since passed away, and that's and I'm purely speculating. Because when I interviewed him, he already was really old. I'm not going to say who, just because in case he's still alive, it's just going to be really mean to say.
Yeah, he was
Um,
basically dead.
it's just not
He
there,
was on death's
Cusco.
door.
It's
You
not
know.
there, Cusco.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He's 100 years
Cusco.
old.
It's 100 years old, Cusco.
Uh,
But yeah. So anyway, that was the one of the big things I experienced this week. I actually just finished it today. Really fascinating book. Cannot
nice.
recommend it enough. Check out retrogamebooks.com. Because side note, this is a review copy. The book I got is a review copy for full disclosure, as was Nadia's book. But I would still recommend both either. As you all know, I love video game history, and I'm a big fan of video game history that's not spoken about a lot. That's
Yeah.
that's something that like I will do episodes on shit that like I know is not going to get a lot of follow or not a lot of listens, just because I want to talk about whatever the topic will be. And
Yeah.
this might go because like history of cheating, like you read that title, like, oh, that sounds interesting. History of cheating in video games would sound fascinating to everyone to just thinking about it. So I yeah, but yeah, like I don't know anyone else really talking about this. Not saying it's not like I'm not in every single area of the game history community, but still, I don't hear a lot about it. So
Yeah.
really great book.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. I do want to say a second ago, I said pour one out for a real one, and then laughed really hard. And I wanted to be clear to everyone, including you, Josh, that I was not laughing about anything about this blind person or their death. I was thinking of a very funny moment that something very funny that police has said one time that I always think of when I say that phrase, because it was at ZenkaiCon this year. We were trying to find like most conventions, they have like the water coolers set up to keep people hydrated.
Hmm.
And so we were both super thirsty, and we were like, oh my god, wait, I think I know where one is. And we went up and around the halls and found it, and it was completely empty. And I was like, oh, and I was like trying to, you know, fill my little shitty funnel cup, paper cup up
Hmm.
with anything like a 2 drops, and nothing came out. And I was like, oh my god, this is what a waste. And I was like, R.I.P. to a hero. And police was like, pour none out for a real one. It was so
That's
good.
pretty
I was
good.
laughing for like an hour after that. She was like, I really didn't think it was that funny. She has a couple of
Sometimes it's the ones that you don't expect. Freaking
Totally.
my daughter had one yesterday, like a joke yesterday. My 5-year-old made me laugh really hard where we were in the pool and she goes, or what is it? We were playing we have one of those like torpedo toys that's in the pool that when you throw it, it goes like really far underwater.
Oh yeah.
And we've been playing a game recently where like we'll toss it and we race to see who can get to it first.
Mm,
And because as soon as it hits the water, it just shoots off in a random direction. It could go straight down. It could go back towards you. You don't really know.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So we're doing that, and I found it, and I hit it, and I'm like joking around with her. I'm like, "Oh, where could it be? You
Yeah.
don't know where it's at." And I actually threw it, and I'm like, "It's not over there. You can't prove that it's over there." And she goes without missing a beat. She goes, "Don't lie to me, Aardvark." And I'm like,
Aardvark.
like I don't know. It was, and she like gave me like the "Don't lie to me, Aardvark," like staring at me like right down the barrel. Like, what's going on?
Don't lie to me, Aardvark. Aardvark.
And I'm like, what? She hasn't watched Arthur in ages. What's going on? I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, is it because of Aardvark? Is she?
No, I
Aardvark.
genuinely have no idea. It was so funny though.
That's so funny. Well, and everyone knows famously untrustworthy animals are aardvarks. All they do is lie. They lie, cheat, eat hot chip, and lie. Or no, what is it? All they do is women only want to lie, eat hot chip, and be bisexual or something. I don't know if you have any idea what I'm talking about.
No, I have no idea.
It was like a pretty famous meme. Somebody was complaining, who I don't know if this was satire or not. I also don't know if English was their first language or not, or if they were doing this as a bit. But it was like women, like girl only want to be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie. It just became a thing on the internet. So Aardvark only
pour
want
one
to
out for pour one out for an Aardvark.
Yeah, for those lion sacks of shit.
Lion sack is just a shit Aardvark.
They
Who would
lie.
have known?
They lie in the
Whomst
pool.
among us?
They cheat at video games.
So, real quick, as a way to transition back to you, I have one other thing. I didn't experience this, but I want to shout it out because it's something we both have an interest in.
Ooh.
It's a Kickstarter that I backed, and it has something that I know you. It was a previous experience of yours. I don't know if there's an update to the experience.
Mm-hmm.
The Worlds Beyond Number has an official graphic novel coming out for The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One.
Oh, sick. Okay.
It ends. The Kickstarter ends at 3:00 tomorrow, 3:00 Eastern tomorrow, 7:15. For $40, you can get a physical copy of the graphic novel, like a hardcover graphic novel. I paid like $4 extra, and I got a cool little bookmark. Nice. But yeah. It has 17 hours to go at the time we're doing our stream here, but I gotta go. Their goal was $25,000. They raised $2.2 million.
Somehow, I'm not surprised in the least after Critical Role's ridiculous $11 million ridiculousness, which the newest season of Vox Machina is out, and I gotta watch it. That's awesome, though.
But it looks like the artwork is stunning. They've already have like a bunch of like artwork examples. If you want to, you can go up to, not that I'm not getting paid by them. I just think it's cool. There's a $60 tier where you get like a specific, like a wizard version of the graphic novel, a witch version of the graphic novel, or a wild one version of the graphic novel. And they have like different slip sleeve. It seems like the book is the same, but they have like different like slip sleeve covers or like shells for it. It's really cool. Decorate your space. I guess it also is going to come with an exclusive foil print, which looks really cool.
Ooh, I love me some metallic foil.
Yeah, the artwork is great. So if y'all are curious, you can yeah, you can go to their Kickstarter. It's going to end in 17 hours or so, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, July 15th.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, by the time this
Nice.
VOD goes out up on YouTube, that's
Yeah,
already done.
it'll be
But
over.
uh,
If
I
you're
still
here
have to
right
finish.
now, go do it.
I still have to finish like the rest of that series. There's a lot for me to listen to,
Yeah,
but man, that show is good.
it's
It is
excellent.
so good.
I dropped off of it, and I don't even really know why. Uh,
Well, it's heavy. It's very intense. Like you have to really pay attention
yeah,
to what's happening. Like it is a very like what I like about it is I've watched a bunch of episodes of Dimension 20. I wouldn't consider myself like a Dimension 20 fan, not because I dislike it, just comparatively to other people who are into the live play type of
yeah.
stuff. Um, I wouldn't consider myself a fan, but I've enjoyed what I've watched of it. But Dimension 20 is meant to be a lot more. I don't want to say casual because like live play is not a casual thing at all,
Yeah.
but
It's a commitment.
um, yeah, but like there's a lot more jokes. It's a lot more funny. It's meant to be. It's a lot shorter too. Like most of their
Yeah.
arcs are like at most 20 episodes, which
Oh,
don't
okay.
get me wrong, most of their campaigns are 20 episodes, which are still like 2 to 4 hour long episodes
Right.
each, right? Like they're long episodes.
But it's not Critical
But
Role's 100 some episodes of
yeah,
3 to 5 hour each.
but Brendan has talked about it in some interviews I've seen him with, where it's like he loves Dimension 20, but they are much more bite-sized campaigns compared to Critical Role's massive, 300 plus episode, 4 hours each minimum, like things. And what this so the Worlds Beyond Number came out before the Critical Role thing, and Critical Role I'm sure was in production, well, like probably while they were still doing Wizard the Witch and the Wild One, because
Mm.
it seemed like all this is filmed prior to being released. That's what it kind of, the new season with Brennan, it seems like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think this is I have you watched any of the new season?
Of Critical Role with
Yeah.
Brendan. No, I haven't. I've only listened to all of Campaign 1, so Vox Machina. I started listening to Campaign 2, and then they were like, "Oh, the animation is coming out for this one," and I was like, "Cool, I'm just gonna watch that," because like it's just as good. There's obviously hours and hours and hours of stuff that has to get cut out, and there were some moments like in Vox Machina that I am gonna miss and do miss that haven't been there, but it's not enough to listen to thousands of hours of
It's
content.
it's a lot of content, man. Like it is meant for it's meant for background, right? Like you're meant to like kind of like you're not meant to watch it and focus on this, right? Like I'm sure people do, but
I
like
I
that
most of the time did when I listened to it, which was hard because it was like, how am I gonna find the time?
yeah, that's the thing. I don't have time for so but The Wizard, the Witch and the Wild One and Worlds Beyond Number is kind of like Brennan and his friends being able to like really I mean you've listened to it in the episodes, like they really like it is a deep look into characters and world building. Like
Yeah.
Brennan talks about it when he was doing I think in interviews gearing up for season 4 of Critical Role, that like he doesn't get the chance to build worlds like he could in season 4 of Critical Role,
Mm,
or Worlds Beyond. I don't know if he mentioned Worlds Beyond Number, but I'm kind of kind of doing it by proxy type of thing, because the Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One is a very deeply built world, like a
yeah.
very richly built world,
And his
and so
delivery
is
of
the.
it too, like it's a
Mhm.
much more flowery language and just like, and I don't say that to demean it, like it's incredible. It's almost like the difference of, and it's not in this style, but it's the difference of like Tolkien, how like he could spend half an hour talking about one flower,
Mhm.
it's very much that kind of stuff, and it dives inward like in ways that like not that Critical Role doesn't have this level of depth, but it's not as often as like that's they're always just diving deep.
Well, and I think what I've known, like tabletop gaming is collaborative storytelling, right? That's
Yeah.
what you and your friends are coming up with a story together on the fly, and I think Brennan is one of the, not that I'm an expert on live play, but of the DMs I've seen, which is very few because I'm not like deep into the world. I don't have time to. 'Cause I'll at least the two big ones, Matt Mercer and Brennan, of the two that I've like actively like paid attention to. Matt is very much from what I've seen of Vox Machina. I only watched like 3 or 4 of the first ep of the first season, right? Like barely anything into the show, into the series. But he kind of like he gives you a lot of detail about the world. It's richly built. It's very thought out. But he lets the players kind of come up to their own decision. Brennan kind of works with the players to make the decision for the characters' decisions. Like I've noticed a handful of times he says, "You think this, you feel this," and normally DMs won't do that. From my experience, DMs aren't going to tell you what your character thinks or feels. But Brennan is collaborate. It's almost like being in a writing room, right? Where like he knows the type of character, and so he might even give a couple options. You're like, do you think they would do this or this or this? And so he guides the players through his narrative, but he still leaves room for them to like kind of fuck up his story. And like there's a couple moments in like I've seen clips from the new season of Critical Role where players do things he was not expecting, where they broke his game logic, and he's like, fuck. Yeah. All right, I guess I have to figure this out. And that's important too. That's part of the collaborative storytelling. And I like Brennan so much just because like he seems so like when you watch him on like Game Changer or like other stuff, he's so different. You can tell he's the same like person, but he's working such a different muscle. Yeah. And he's so fucking smart, it's unfair.
He's a freaking genius. Yeah. I love when he asks, what is your character feeling in this moment, like for everyone to share. Like I like that. It seems like and, you said, more collaborative on an interpersonal level.
Oh, and I like it
instead
too.
Of what's your character doing, what's your character feeling,
and then that uses that to inform like I actually think like his stuff with the Wizard, Witch, and the Wild One, which ties into some like the way he DMs it reminds me of something that I'm going to bring up in a moment, but I also feel like I've been talking a whole bunch, and I don't want to. I want to make sure you have a chance to go through, talk about one of your experiences as well, because I've been going on my bullshit for a bit.
Well, if it's related,
it's
I don't
loosely
mind.
Related.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I can't because it's going to be quick anyway.
Yeah, let's.
I have a more meatier thing later on anyway to go into.
Okay.
The way Brennan DMs reminds me of I'm back on my bullshit. Oh my gosh, Wheel of Time, book 5.
Wheel of Time. Okay.
The Fires of Heaven. Yes.
Wow.
Look, it is a chunky boy. Look at
dense. That is a thick boy. That is a chungus.
That is a tome.
Yeah.
I have not started it yet.
Every fantasy story is the something of something, or a something of something and something.
Yeah. You know what? I'm curious. Like, the first book is the Wheel of Time. That makes sense.
The Wheel of Time, A Game of Thrones, Song of Fire and Ice, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
The Eye of the World is the first book.
Yeah.
The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, The Shadow Rising, The Fires of Heaven. Book 6, Lord of Chaos. Okay. No, just Lord of Chaos. But then it goes back to to the titling bullshit. A Crown of Swords.
Yeah, Crown of Swords. Just pick up
The Path of Daggers.
Come on.
Winter's Heart. Okay.
You could have said The Heart of Winter.
Crossroads of Twilight.
Oh my God, not the vampires.
New Spring. Knife of Dreams.
Knife of Dreams. I am the Knife of Dreams.
And then I believe after that is when so Robert Jordan had passed away after that, and the last 3 books were written kind of like based off his notes, and then Brandon Sanderson kind of wrote the rest of it. The Gathering Storm, Towers of Midnight, and A Memory of Light is the finale to Wheel of Time.
Hang on.
Anyway,
everyone, we got to rewind. Jimmy just got here. We're going to start over from the beginning. And here
what's up, Jimmy?
We go.
All right, what's going on?
It's Josh's dick, and my mouth It's another episode of The Experience Point. It's a Talk Tuesday. What's going on, Josh? How are you this hard, this fast? Actually, if I wanted to tantalize Jimmy, I would have said it's Josh's feet and my mouth.
That's true.
But that's just a little more unsanitary. Not that I'm saying you're dirty, but, I mean, it takes a lot of work to keep those clean. Keep those piggies clean. What's up, Jimmy?
Oh, God.
I'm glad you're here for my next segment. Once Josh is done. So, did you just finish on this Crown of Heaven or whatever it is, or did you just start it?
No, I haven't. I just got it on Saturday. I picked it up. This is my uncle's copy, first edition too, which is crazy. But yeah, first edition.
It's good condition.
Yeah, he took good care of him, man. Though I am a little nervous because it's been a minute since I've actually been like reading. Look at the fucking text on this, dude.
Dense.
It's tiny as shit.
Yeah, my eyes. I thought you were gonna say
tiny as shit with small margins.
Yeah, I would be nervous about getting to a sex scene and having the pages be sticky if I was borrowing that from somebody.
Well, there's no sex in these books, from my understanding, so that's good.
Yeah,
but
fucking prudes.
So, but
we got pantsless streams before a foot cam. Wild times we living in. Yeah, I told Josh about my going commando stream. Or no, thank God I wasn't going commando because I would have just been dick and balls out and we would be banned.
Yes, we would.
Then we were doing the no pants dance on stream.
But yeah, so to bring it back though, yeah. I think the way Brennan DMs reminds me a lot of how Robert Jordan writes, where like there's a lot of inner monologue going on in the characters' heads, giving you an eye on how they think and how they feel and what's going on. So it's not just always in the dialogue, and in Worlds Beyond Number, that's how Brennan kind of DMs. Like you said, he asks, what is your character feeling right now? And I also like it because all of these players, Erika Ishii, Abria Iyengar, and Lou Wilson, Abria does a lot of tabletop stuff in general, but like Erika and Lou, Erika is a voice actress, or voice actor, and also is on Dropout doing comedy a lot.
Yeah.
Lou is always on Dropout doing comedy, and also I believe he is the announcer for Jimmy Kimmel's show. Like he works at the Jimmy Kimmel show. Like his voice is on air. Like he's in this episode of Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but
that's cool.
He's the announcer, I think, for Jimmy Kimmel. So he's almost always doing comedy. He's almost always doing comedy bits, and like I've seen him in other Dropout episodes, and I can't tell if he's. I got the vibe from that. Now, it makes sense that why I did, because it's a comedy show, but it felt like he was a person that could never be serious. Like, he's always doing a bit. He's always having to make sense. He can't allow himself to feel his emotions. And I don't know if that's the case. I don't know Lou Wilson at all. That's just the vibe I got from that. But listening to him Worlds Beyond Number, I'm like, oh, no, that's just him playing into a bit for Dropout, for the TV show. And when I hear him on The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, I hear him like getting to kind of drop that comedy facade, and or drop that comedy act and not have to do bits all the time. So I enjoyed this because he does. I mean, there's a lot of times where like I remember in a couple episodes he vividly was like, why are you ending here? Like, he was so emotional about what was happening in the episode.
Yeah, I should give him more credit. I think Erika and Abria are much better at it than him, and I think he finds his stride eventually. But especially in the beginning, when his character is trying to be serious, he is still making jokes and stuff. So he is still making it funny in serious moments. But I got up to like a pretty intense emotional scene with him and the ocean, I will say. And I was like, whew, okay, now we're locked in. Now we're there.
It's such a good show, man. I really need to continue listening to that podcast because I loved what I listened to. Yeah. It was so good. And yeah, so I transitioned that to say I'm back on my Wheel of Time bullshit. Yeah. I'm excited to dive back into this. I finished reading what I need to for the show. Though I do have a couple I got some digital copies of some books from Boss Fight Books, but I don't have any time frame on when I'm completing them. So I'm just going to, go see how it goes, see where those go. But I'm no longer going to be holding off my reading for leisure. I'm going to be like, I'm not reading Wheel of Time for the podcast. It's just for me, and it's that really was nice reading books just for fun, not for the podcast, not for content, just for me.
Yeah, nice. The wheel of time must keep turning. I need to get back into playing. Well, once I have hands, playing games just for me. Just have no hands. What was I gonna say? Goodbye.
That's like the third time you've done that.
I'm tired. I can blame the painkillers and the pain keeping me up all night.
Do you want to call it at all, dude? Like, I don't have to. Like,
No,
we
no.
don't have to push it if you need to go.
No, I was gonna just talk about my next thing, which it's a good thing Jimmy is here for. We don't have to talk about it, Jimmy. But what was that? Did you have more to say about the Wheel of Time, or just
no?
You got the next one and you're stoked to read it?
I threw it over. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say about it. I'm listening to a podcast called Tarvalon or Bust, which is like a recap of it's these two. One's a comic book writer. The other one, I don't know what she does. The Preeti Chibber is the comic book writer, and Jen Northington is, I don't know what she does. I forget what Jen does. I know Preeti, she works in comics. Anyway, they've been, before the Wheel of Time TV show came out, they started this podcast, and it was a way to reread all the books. So I'm listening to it as a refresher to remember, because when I finished the last book, it was like 5 months ago, and I'm like, oh, do I remember? I remember a good chunk of it. I remember a lot of it, but since I was reading so fast, I want to make sure I retain all the different plot points and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's good. I know there was a Game of Thrones podcast that I would somewhat listen to. If it was like a particularly lore dense episode, I would like throw that on afterwards and hear people who actually knew the books talking about it, and that I found that helpful. Have you ever watched She-Ra, the Netflix show?
No, but I've heard it's very good. I think Sissy Jones, when she was on my show, recommended it.
Oh, nice. Is she on it? I don't think
I don't know.
Okay. It's ridiculous. It's one of the best animated shows of all time. And I'm not even into like Master of the Universe. You don't have to be either. Like, it's its own thing. And it's just an excellent storytelling. And there's a companion podcast to that too that I would listen to when that was airing. Or, every time a season would drop. Word. Speaking of animated, Jimmy, I gotta throw you under the bus. I'm so sorry for this. Jimmy told me a secret last night, and it was one that hurt me deep. Outed. Jimmy revealed to me that he has never watched a single Studio Ghibli film. Which I was so surprised.
I was really gearing up to be like, he's never watched like this specific cartoon that everyone seems to watch, and I was going to be like, I haven't watched it too. But when you said Ghibli, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, wow. Me too. Especially as somebody who watches anime. Like, I would get it if somebody's like, yeah, I don't watch any anime or anything really animated. Like, sure, then you wouldn't have seen these. But for somebody who's into anime to have not watched, like, that's wild.
My wife doesn't like anime if she's watched like at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think
that's because of me though.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's like, would she have discovered it on her own?
Well, Peter.
Probably not Peter. But yeah, so we got to talking. So I mentioned I streamed for like an hour and a half last night, with like 20 minutes of it being the end of Shenmue. The rest of it was talking about Studio Ghibli. So, I'm planning to, I don't know if I'm gonna make it like a big like video, or make it like each individual like TikToks or Instagram reels or whatever, but I have a plan to watch, and I started what I consider to be every Ghibli and Ghibli adjacent film that contains, like, I'm trying to get to the core of what Studio Ghibli is, like the things that they represent a lot, and things that their core messaging and things like that. So obviously it's, some people are like, well, the first official one is Castle in the Sky, but some people watch the Lupin the Third one.
Was it My Neighbor Totoro the first one?
No, that was I don't know where it falls in, but I think it was 88. It came out. I think it was 93 when it came. By the time it came out over here, but yeah, that wasn't the first one. The first official one, like with Studio Ghibli,
yeah, wow,
was Castle in the Sky. But a lot of people attribute the first one as Castle of Cagliostro, the Lupin the Third movie. But that's just because that's Miyazaki's debut.
Because Miyazaki directed it. Yeah,
yeah.
I did not realize Grave of the Fireflies is the second one, which I have still not seen and refuse to see because I've heard it will destroy every ounce of humanity inside of you.
It will.
It is so sad, and I just don't want to be sad.
Yeah,
I just don't want it.
I get it. That's totally fine. Like, they specifically showed that they only were allowed to show that in theaters as a double feature with Totoro, and you would end on Totoro, so you wouldn't be leaving the theater depressed.
Well, question for you: would you say even the movies by Isao Takahata are also like, because he's part of Ghibli, he was part of Ghibli, but Ghibli is so like synonymous with Miyazaki, you know, at least to me.
Yeah.
Like, so when you're curating your list, are you including Takahata stuff in it too?
Yes. So that's where I was going next.
Okay.
Actually, so I went back actually way further in the past than I thought. I went all the way back to there's a movie called Horace, The Adventures of Horace, Prince of the Sun, which was like 68, I think, and it was Takahata's directorial debut, and Miyazaki did a lot of the key animation for it. So those are like the two main guys. If either of them directed it or had a major hand in it, it was on the list, and I ended up with like 35 movies.
Wait, hold on. Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind came out in 84.
Yes.
So then it wouldn't be Castle in the Sky, which was 86.
I think Castle in the Sky was their first one as calling themselves Studio Ghibli. But a lot of people...
Oh, yes, because
it was the same
studio
people.
was founded in 85. Nausicaa came out in 84.
Yeah.
The production company for Nausicaa was Topcraft.
Yeah. But it was the same people. They just weren't calling themselves Ghibli yet. So I was like, well, you know, obviously I'm going to count Nausicaa. Obviously I'm going to count Castle of Cagliostro. But I went back really far. I went back to like the late 60s with Isao Takahata's debut, Horace and the Prince of the Sun.
I remember our friend Andrew Whistler, he would lose his mind every time I would say the Castle of Cagliostro.
Cagliostro.
Well, it's because I genuinely thought, you know, it was before I realized it was pronounced Cagliostro.
Yeah.
But like the G is silent for some reason.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Where did that come from?
I think it's I can't take credit for that. I think it's a Lil Wayne lyric.
That's funny. So, what is it? It sorry, I totally lost my thread. That really threw me for a loop.
Cagliostro.
Cagliostro, yeah. He hates it. So I remember for years, every time I would see him, like, "Hey, Cagliostro," he's God damn it. I haven't done that probably for like. No, he loves the movie.
Oh.
He hated that I called it Cagliostro.
Oh, okay. She texted
like it was like nails on a chalkboard to him. So next time I see him, I should just text him Castle of Cagliostro.
Yeah, you may have to call him to get the audio.
I know, right?
Joke across, but
Cagliostro. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Continue with what you're saying. I'm going down a rabbit hole now.
Yeah. So going down an aardvark hole, you fucking liar. So yeah, so. The list that I ended with starts with Horace, Prince of the Sun, Takahata's debut, key art mainly done by Miyazaki, and Police. And I watched that one, and it's definitely, the DNA is certainly
Sorry,
there.
Which movie was it again? Sorry.
The Adventures of Horace, Prince of Wow. Take two. The Adventures of Horace, Prince of the Sun. Use take two.
Oh, I see. Oh, for his first director, yeah, because he was assistant director on previous movies, but yes, his first movie is the okay. That seems cool.
So I that's what I consider, like, that's at least where I'm starting anyway. Like, I was like, okay, directorial debut, one of the two main guys. Let's start here. Obviously, it goes all the way up to Prince of. Or, why the fuck can I not speak? The Boy and the Heron. I've been saying Prince so much. And there's a bunch in there that I had never heard of, but were either directed by non Ghibli movies that were directed by people like Miyazaki's protege, or like the art director for Spirited Away directed a movie, and I was like, okay, I'll check these out. I don't know if I'll consider them like part of the whole Ghibli adjacent canon, but I'll give them a shot. And I ended with 35 movies, so it's going to be a bit of a good chunk of time. I'm just gonna leave.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I said a good chunk of chime. It's gonna take a while. We watched the first one. We watched Horus. Pretty good. I'll save my review for when I officially make the review. But the DNA is definitely there, and it definitely surprised me in a lot of ways. But anyway, so I was talking about all this stuff that if anyone was in my stream last night and you're hearing me say all this again for the second time, I apologize, especially you, Jimmy. But I was talking about all this stuff and talking Ghibli movies and gassing them up. And Jimmy was like, okay, give me 3 and I'll check them out this week. So I'm curious, Josh, if you had to give somebody 3 Ghibli movies to get like the widest breadth, like the widest
widest
taste.
breadth, not just what's known, not just what they're known for, but like the widest breadth of like there's kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like pick an obscure one just for the sake of being obscure, but like, what's a sampling that most encompasses what Studio Ghibli is? If you had to give them 3, and the order is important too, so I'm curious to see what you would do.
Oh, the order's important.
A smattering of joy.
You got to give me a second to come up with the order because I still have to think of the 3.
Okay.
Spirited Away would have to be just because it's the one that won an Oscar. Like it's the one that kind of put them on the map. Like I shouldn't say for it's a great movie. It's a phenomenal movie, but it is kind of like the boring pick, if that makes sense. Like it's like of course you have to put this on, but it's still a fantastic movie. I would say that. You know what? Okay, I would probably say that Nausicaa. And even though it's probably it's not anywhere in my top 5, Princess Mononoke.
Okay, yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time. So that was definitely in there for me.
I know. I knew it just because Princess Mononoke, I think, represents so much of. You know what? I would probably because Princess Mononoke and Nausicaa have similar themes.
Yeah,
sort of. They're very different tonally and very different in terms of structure and characters and all this other stuff. But the very similar themes. So if I were to, I would prefer Nausicaa, but I would have to still go with Mononoke because that's the more revered one. If Jimmy wants to have like if someone who's never seen a Ghibli movie wants to be able to converse Ghibli movies with the most amount of people, you would want the ones that most people have seen. So you know what I'd probably do? It would probably be Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and believe it or not, Kiki's Delivery Service. I'd probably go with those 3.
Okay, in that order?
The order I would probably go in would be Spirited Away. I'd probably do it in that order because I would probably do Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, then Princess Mononoke, because Kiki's Delivery Service is very kind of like, it's slow paced. It's very kind of much more slice of life. It's a lot, from what I remember. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I just remember that movie as like lighter on story, lighter on plot, but richer in character development. and because there's not a lot of things that happen. You just kind of see Kiki grow and become more confident,
Yeah.
and I really love how kind of chill and how kind of like whimsical
Yeah.
that movie is. Um, so I think that kind of captures the whimsy side of Ghibli. Spirited Away is like a really good mix of kind of like the darker side of Ghibli and the
Yeah.
lighter side of Ghibli. And then Princess Mononoke is like a really good, like, this is a very serious, mature, like more darker in tone. So
Yeah.
I'd probably go with those three and end with Princess Mononoke because to even though that I like that movie a lot. I don't I know I kind of sound like I'm shitting on it. I do like that movie a lot. I just it's kind of in the same vein as some of the other stuff where people like would praise it so much, and then when I finally watched it, it just didn't live up to the praise that was said to me. So that's why I kind of say it begrudgingly, but it's still a phenomenal movie.
Mm.
I'm not I can't even really like nitpick it per se. I'm sure if I rewatched it, I could. The only thing I will say that I'll nitpick, it's so damn long. I don't know what they could cut out because there's a lot of great stuff in almost every moment in that movie.
No
But
cuts.
like, so I'm sure there's something I could watch and be like, you could get rid of this. Um, but for the most part, like that movie is phenomenal. It's beautifully animated, great story, great characters. Mm, I don't like the characters in it, but I think they're good characters, if that makes sense. I
In
think there's a
Mononoke?
difference between. Yeah, I don't like many of them. I don't find I'm not really engaged by Ashitaka. I don't like she's not you're not meant to like her, but who's the woman that keeps using who's the main villain sort of it? I forget her name.
Lady
Uh,
Eboshi.
Lady Eboshi. You're not meant to like her, so that's fine.
But I
But
think she's
Ashitaka, she
compelling. I think they're all some of the most compelling
no,
characters.
she's Ashitaka is like a wet blanket, dude. There's like no personality to him. He's like the generic good guy. He's like he's just nice for the sake of nice for most of it. I like him, but I find him kind of be of a bland character. I didn't find him that interesting
I think
comparatively to the other characters in the movie. Like
in
Lady Eboshi is really interesting. A lot of them are really good. I just never found Ashitaka all that interesting.
in any other story, I could see that. Like he feels a bit like Cloud to me. Um,
Yeah,
and
little
Cloud has
a
a
little
lot
bit.
of depth, like that you don't get to until way later. In any other story, and I don't want to spoil anything for especially for Jimmy. In this story, I think it is imperative that Ashitaka is good for the sake of being good, or else.
No, I agree, but he's bland still. Like
Uh,
there's nothing that makes him interesting to me. Like good for the sake of good is necessary, but like Goku is good for the sake of good, but he's an interesting character because he's quirky and silly and he has this like weird back and forth between being serious and silly. And granted DBZ and Dragon Ball and DBZ is significantly different tonally to Princess Mononoke, but like Ashitaka, I just never really found him all that engaging. I I think one of the reasons that movie didn't do it for me is that I didn't find myself rooting for Ashitaka as much as I found myself rooting against Lady Eboshi. Like, and I want a character that I can root for, not someone that I'm just like, well, you're a wet blanket and you're just evil, so of course I'm going to root against evil. I want to root for someone. This is all from memory though. It's probably been a decade since I watched it.
wow, I have so
But I've
much.
watched it like 3 or 4 times. I've seen the movie 3 or 4 times. It's not like I watched it once and just
Yeah,
didn't afterwards.
I have so
I
much
think it's
more to say than we
I
have
think
time
that's the
for.
reasons why it doesn't rank higher for me. It's so long. It is so long. It's what is it? 2 hours and 45 minutes or something like that?
I don't know if it's that long. Maybe 2.5. Uh,
Maybe 2.5.
I don't know though. But that's the one where famously Miyazaki sent, um, I think it was Gainax, the studio that handled the dub. He sent him a katana engraved with the phrase "no cuts" because they wanted to like edit it up to make it more
Two
palatable.
hours and
For
13 minutes is what it is. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes.
okay, so yeah, it's just over two. I don't think that's egregious.
No, it's. I think the problem is that it's very, very just very long. I think like The newest James Bond movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it feels shorter than Princess Mononoke.
Well, you also love James Bond, so
Yeah, but like I don't love every James Bond. There's a lot of Bond movies that feel like a slog to me as well. Like A View to a Kill is a very slow paced Bond movie. I like it, but it's still very slow paced. Um, Same with like For Your Eyes Only, but I won't go down all that. Uh, so I do like James Bond, yes, but there's other movies that I've watched that are like super long that don't feel as long as their runtime. I feel all 2 hours and 15 minutes of Princess Mononoke. It just, and
that's
I
wild
I
to me.
think in a weird sense, like it's I kind of agree with you that it's good at that length because I think part of the reason that movie is so strong is that it's very contemplative, which I think is
Mm.
another hallmark of Ghibli movies, specifically Miyazaki. I should say I haven't seen a lot of it. I don't know if I've seen any Isao Takahata stuff.
Oh,
I don't think I have, so I can't say what his kind of style or vibe is. But like for Miyazaki, like a lot of his like Kiki's Delivery Service, super contemplative. Like all of the characters are very self-reflective and very contemplative. And Ashitaka is kind of boring, but that's my opinion on it. But with Mononoke, like the others, it's very contemplative. It's very slow. It wants you to kind of not just see the world that they've animated and lovingly created, but also kind of like reflect on it as you're watching.
yeah.
So I as much as I don't put it in my top five, it's one of those things where it's like I don't consider this a hipster Josh thing because hipster Josh is when something is popular and I don't understand why it's popular. This I completely see why it's
Mm.
popular. It just really does not vibe with me. I like for all the reasons I explained.
Yeah,
So it
that's okay.
and probably others. So but like it's if you're asking me to pick like a good wide berth of like what makes Ghibli specifically for, like I said for me Miyazaki like what makes Ghibli Ghibli, I have to include it on there because it's out of all the movies I've seen it's one of the darkest tonally, but it still feels like Ghibli.
Yeah.
So yeah. I
Yeah.
also honorable mention Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso is great and definitely needs more love.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. So yours were what? Kiki,
Spirited
Spirited
Away,
Away.
Kiki's Delivery Service. In this order, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, and finale of Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
Princess Mononoke. Which, if that doesn't show you my appreciation for it, despite it not being one of my favorite movies, that's why I
Sure.
had to include it on because it's that important.
Yeah, yeah. It for sure is. That was very close to being my three. Not in the order. I wanted to ramp up the intensity, so I almost went Kiki, Spirited Away, Mononoke, but I actually ended up swapping Kiki out for Totoro, just for the
Totoro is so good too. Yeah.
yeah, just for the iconic nature of this character and the story. And this was most people's introduction in the States anyway to Totoro. It was mine, or to
Hmm.
Miyazaki slash Ghibli. It was mine anyway. And so I said, yeah, Totoro, Spirited Away, and then Mononoke. And I specifically said, well, first I cleared with Jimmy if dub was okay, because for some reason the dubs for all the Ghibli movies are stellar. They're all so good. Like there's not a bad one. And
No, they're all very very good. Even though like a lot of them are like quote unquote Disneyfied, like they get like non voice actors for a lot of the main roles, but they're all good. Like everything turns out really good.
yeah, and specifically in the original dub of Totoro that I think 20th Century Fox did, before Disney like took over the not production distribution. Um, there's like in the early 2000s, like they did a dub with like Dakota and Elle Fanning, and it's like I think it's dead. Like it feels their performances are like just lacking life. Maybe it's just because it's not the one I'm used to. But they change
Hmm.
things. Like they change things with the story and with the music, which like don't touch the music. Come on. And so I specifically had Jimmy watch the Fox version of the original dub of Totoro. I literally digitized my own VHS tape of it from my childhood, and sent it to him. And as far as I know, he watched that one today and is going to watch the other two this week. So I'm in all of its VHS crispiness. Yeah, I know. But how nostalgic is it to start that file up and then you see the blue screen with the play in the corner? Like, that shit. I love it. It hit. Yeah, totally. You're like, oh, I gotta adjust the tracking. Oh wait, I can't. So I think Jimmy said he was gonna hold his thoughts until he watches all three. Feel free to share as much or as little as you want to know about how much you enjoyed or did not enjoy My Neighbor Totoro. But yeah, so if I was so close to saying Kiki as well. It's so funny that you said that. And I asked Belisa the same question, and she said Kiki. She said the same three actually as you. But Kiki,
wow.
She was gonna switch Howl's Moving Castle for Spirited Away because she likes that one more. But she's like, Spirited Away is the better movie though. So I was like, yeah, you gotta like.
Yeah.
It's the best one in my opinion. It's also one of my favorites. Mononoke is my favorite movie of all time. So it's so funny that like you two have very similar, and you have two of my three too. So Kiki almost
I would
made
say
it.
we have very similar opinions, even if our tastes are different. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Kiki almost made it to mine. Like if he said give me 5, I would just like expand. If there's a slot in between each three, I would go Totoro, Kiki, Nausicaa, Spirited Away, Mononoke. Like again, ramping up the intensity, but like Nausicaa is a good in between, I think, for Spirited Away and Mononoke. Kiki, I think, is a good in between for Totoro and Spirited Away.
Trying to think what I would add if it was up to 5. I would probably put Nausicaa on it.
Yeah.
I'd actually start off intense and then bring it down so you have different juxtapositions, so you're not just going da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like heavy, light, medium, light, heavy. Like kind of have a little bit of juxtaposition going on.
I can see that.
So if I was doing that like heavy, light, medium, light, heavy, I would probably keep Spirited Away in the middle, do Nausicaa at the beginning, Princess Mononoke at the end. I would probably add, or I don't know. See, here's the thing. I like My Neighbor Totoro, but it just, I think if you're not going with just personal preference, just vibes, you would have to put Totoro in on it. So for me, I would add Totoro and Nausicaa, or I would swap out Nausicaa with like Castle in the Sky because Mark Hamill is the villain in it.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
That's a great one. One of my.
It's a really fun movie.
It's actually probably my least favorite Miyazaki film, but I still like it. It's not one I go to first, which is surprising because I should love it because it's very heavy on the flying. Miyazaki was a pilot, and into aviation. There's a flying scene in every one of his movies, and there's floating islands. Like, come on, like it's so up my alley.
That was my favorite movie for favorite Miyazaki movie for a while. I don't know what it would be now. I don't know what my favorite Miyazaki would be now. It was it for a while, but now I think I've watched it too many times where it's like kind of like I like it, but I've seen it a whole bunch.
Yeah. I need to watch.
I also think an aspect of most Miyazaki, even the darker ones, is that they're all very cozy. Even Princess Mononoke has like some like not everything because that's a very dark movie, but there's a lot of moments even in Mononoke. They're just very cozy. Like they're very comforting. But in a way that it's not like anything that's it's comforting, but not in a way that's like that you're used to. Like it's not like this is a comfort that you've known before.
Yeah,
it's like something new, but you still find it comforting and like a warm embrace.
Yeah,
but it's still unknown,
and it doesn't feel out of place in the world of the movie. Like if there was a level of comfy that you would get in a Totoro or a Kiki's Delivery Service in that movie, I think it would feel weird. But even in the comfy scenes, there is like a heaviness to the world. Like I think about when he's sitting at the campfire with Jigo in the beginning and eating their rice together, and he figures out who he is, and then when they're in the cave, I'm trying to say as little as possible, but the cave scene is very cozy. Even like a little bit of like when you see Irontown, Like, it looks like everyone's sweaty and it probably smells like shit, but it's like kind of cozy. You're like, man, I kind of want to go, drink with these guys and hear their war stories, or go down and stoke the bellows of the fire for a little bit with all the ladies. Anyway, I'm saying too much. But yeah, so to tie it actually back to tabletop, one of the main reasons why I want to like get to the core of Studio Ghibli DNA is so that I can run an Obojima campaign, which I finally ordered the books for that. The second one I think is coming out in September. I think Jimmy confirmed that for me last night too. So I will probably do maybe some kind of unboxing when those come out and just check out the cool art. And I don't plan to do that anytime soon. I have 34 movies to go through and notes to take and stuff to write, and got to learn how to GM. And I'm going to be doing like one shots with some friends and seeing like who could be on this thing, because I want to do it for content. I want to do it on the channel and immortalize it. I just fused immortalize and memorialize. That's a new word.
And speaking of that too, like the Worlds Beyond Number, if you look at that art book for it, if you look at the graphic novel, it's very Ghibli-esque. It's not Ghibli, it's very much its own style, but it's got that whimsical vibe of like Ghibli drawings. It's really beautiful.
Nice. That's so funny, because I was listening to that and I was like, this feels like it could be an Obojima campaign. Like, there's a lot of like whimsy and like how they get to describe how their magic works and stuff, and all the rules of like the spirit world. I was like, this is so like, this is Spirited Away basically, when he talks about the honored friends and whatever, which is so funny because that was years before any of this stuff. But yeah, I'm stoked for that. I also like, these movies are all great, so as if I needed a reason to go through them all again, I will be continuing to do that. This Ghibli, I'm calling it the Ghibli Journey. And I don't know if I'm actually going to spell it with a GH, Journey with a GH, because it just looks like Ghibli Gurney. And actually, it was funny. I said that to Jimmy. We were like messaging back and forth, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so I'm honored to start you on your Ghibli journey." And he was like, "Isn't that who stars in Alien?" And I was like, Sigourney Weaver. And I was like, "No, that's Samara Weaving." And he was like, "Isn't that the girl that fell down the well in The Ring?"
I thought it was going to be the dude from The Matrix, Hugo Weaving.
Well, that's his nephew or niece. And he was like, "Wait, isn't that the lady who fell down the well in The Ring, whose name is Samara Morgan?" And I was like, "No, that's Morgan Elsbeth, which is the Star Wars character." And we just kept going back.
I would have gone with Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Arthur Morgan, Mr. Marston. That was funny. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I actually don't usually like to share when I've started something, but I have started an anime that I'm adoring, which is oh, thanks, Jimmy. Excited for your TTRPG journey with a GH. Tabletop role-playing Ghibli.
Your tabletop RPG gurney. It's when you're in the hospital and they're just rolling you around, and they're rolling you in the gurney and you're rolling dice, baby.
Yeah. I saw somebody say something where it was like, I want to get like those molds for dice, but make them out of like sugar and go to like random, like a game shop, play a one shot, roll some dice, and then just be like sneakily eating the dice and seeing if people notice. I was like, oh my god.
Either that or like every time like they roll a 1, they're like, son of a bitch, and then they just put their whole mouth onto the table and they eat it off the table.
That
I'm
would be
like,
amazing.
oh my god, this person's intense. What's wrong with that?
And it would, as you're
Terrified of
crunching
you.
into it, it would sound like your teeth are just
like-
shattering in your mouth.
It's all dribbling, like all the sugar's coming out of your mouth, and you're like, like a rabid tabletop, a TTRPGer.
Yeah, you fill it with some kind of like gusher liquid that's red, so it just looks like you're just destroying your own teeth and bleeding out of your mouth. Ah!
It tastes good.
Give me a new D6, goddammit! What the hell was I saying? I started a really cute and wholesome anime. A friend of mine's been like,
That's the sequitur to that. We're talking about rapid tabletop RPG players. You're like, I started watching a cute, wholesome anime.
This happened last week too. We were talking about My Love Story, and then I was like, well, it was no Attack on Titan. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I started a really cute new anime. A friend of mine put me onto it. He's been reading the manga and been waiting for it to come out.
No, it's no Bible Black.
It's no, yeah. Those, it's no Boku no Pico. God, no, I don't even want to associate this with that because it's so wholesome. And one of the prettiest animation I've ever seen.
It's no Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it's no. Oh my god, it's no Eraserhead.
It's such a stupid joke. I don't know why it gets me. It's just like it's so far removed. Not anime. It's war.
Yeah. Can I say what it's
That was
called?
my high school band's name.
It's not anime. It's war.
Just do heavy metal versions of anime songs. That's what the whole band does.
That's not a bad idea. Can I tell?
Anyway, I'm sorry. You've
tell you
been
what it
watching
is?
a very wholesome anime.
It's called Bible Black. No, it's called. It's wholesome. All right. There are some holes. It's not anime. It's
It's
worse.
wholesome in more ways than one.
So that's a hot topic. Yeah, I've got the power of God and anime on my side. No, Witch Hat Atelier. It's called Witch Hat Atelier. God damn it. I realize I am partly to blame for this.
All right,
However,
the Bible Black.
no, it's a very just fucking stunning anime, and one where I keep hearing that the dub is actually way better than the sub, and we actually switched to the dub like partway through it, and they're right. The dub is great. The characters have different accents, but not just for like, because it's like a pseudo European kind of, it's like a fantasy, it's magic and stuff. But the main girl Coco, she's not a witch initially. She learns how because it's an anime, so you got to have your character who doesn't know how to do the thing of this world and learns, and so she speaks with like an American accent in the dub. And in the rest of the characters in this atelier, this which roughly translates to workshop or school or whatever, they all speak in different European accents. So like there's like a couple of British characters. There's like a girl who speaks in, as far as I can tell, like a Scandinavian accent of some kind. And it's really cool because it makes her feel more out of place. Which I was like, that's an awesome casting idea of using accents to. Like they may all sound different, but they all sound European, and she sounds American, and it just makes her feel even more like fish out of water, which I thought was an awesome choice, and I really like all of the dub actors. Not that they're bad in the sub; all the Japanese actors are great, but they just all feel kind of like every anime voice actor you've ever heard. And I know a lot of dubs nowadays, especially newer stuff, have like quote unquote anime voice where everything sounds like, if you watch any cutscene for any anime video game, Tales of whatever or freaking Fire Emblem, everyone has oh my what is this?
Or like
it's like
or the male characters are always British because I never thought that it would happen this way.
Yeah.
Like it's so,
Or
it's
you
like
get
so melodramatic.
What? I'm going to stop you. Like it's just like
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
But we're about halfway through at least what's out now anyway. And it's stellar. It's really really good. It kind of reminds me tonally of Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like I can already tell it's going to go some places. And it already has in some ways. But it's mostly just it's cute and fun, and I really like the magic system. The magic system is kind of they draw sigils, kind of like the transmutation circles in Full Metal, but it's like different sigils do different spells, and they change based on how you draw them. So like they're all in a circle, and it's like if you draw more of like an oval, then that means like it's gonna change the focus, like focus cone area of effect, basically, to put it in gaming terms, differently. Or if you draw a bigger one, it'll be a bigger spell, or and so they carry around these notebooks of partially drawn spells, so at any moment's notice you can just whip it out, finish the drawing real quick, and then you have a spell ready to go. Whip it out. But it's really
You're
interesting.
so over it. You're like, yeah, whip it out.
No, I just knew it was coming.
Shut the fuck up.
I saw your face.
Oh yeah.
I was like, here, I said whip it out. That was on me. That's my fault.
I'm the one that started this. Wow, way to victim blame, Andrew.
No, I knew it was coming. So I was like, yeah, whip
it was.
But yeah, it's good. It's fun. Check it out. It's gorgeous. It's ridiculously pretty. Check out the intro. The intro is really interesting too. Like the opening. Man, remember like being obsessed with anime openings, like Naruto?
Mm-hmm. Dude, I remember just being obsessed with like the themes. Like for a while, J-Rock and J-Pop was like, this is so cool. Like I want to listen to all of it. It's the only thing I want to listen to. I remember going to dentist visits that my mom would drive me to and forcing her to listen to a J-Rock mix of like Naruto intros.
All right, Mom.
We are fighting
dreamers. You're right. All right. So this one's called Flow. This is Orange Range. This is Asian Kung Fu Generation.
I have a whole bunch. I have like 5 albums of Asian Kung Fu Generation that I totally legally downloaded like over nearly 2 decades ago at this point.
They're so good.
Hold on, let me see how. I'm curious. I still have this hard drive. Let me see. Hold on.
Flow is probably my all-time favorite J-Rock band. It was so cool getting to see them last year.
I have 4 albums from them.
Nice.
From Asian Kung Fu Generation: Fun Club, Hokai Amplifier, Kunkei 5M, and Solfa. This is like 20 years ago, so who knows how many there are.
Yeah.
And let me see, what do I have by Flow? I have Colors and Splash.
Yeah. There
was a J-Rock group. I forget what show they did. Oh my god, there was a J-Rock group I really liked. It was all girls. Justin and I saw them in concert and really liked them. We saw them. They performed at Anime Next in New Jersey in like 2010 or some shit like that.
Garugamesh.
Maybe. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who it was. I know I have them. Excuse me, somewhere on here. So I'm gonna try to find it while you're talking. I know I have it here somewhere. I'm gonna have to look for it because I really liked their music. I just cannot. Stereo Pony. That's what it was. Stereo Pony.
Yeah. Oh my god, that just. The name, I can't think of any of their songs, but the name of them just sent me back into the early 2000s.
They had a album called Over the Border that was really fucking good. I listened to that so much because one of their songs was on an anime show. I can't remember which. They were only active for 5 years though. 2007 to 2012 was like their big thing. I didn't know they had one more album just called More and More and More, and then they had a best of in 2012.
Hmm.
That's wild.
That's funny.
That's crazy. I'm gonna see if I can remember. Oh, it was for Bleach.
What was it?
Hotohiro no Hanabira was the 17th ending theme for Bleach, and that's kind of was like
Okay.
what brought them over to the U.S. and they did a tour in the U.S.
I'd have to hear it. I was thinking about Bleach when you said that. I was thinking about Orange Range, that first opening.
Oh my god, I haven't.
I gotta pick up Bleach
Okay,
again because
oh,
I
wow.
hear because it's back from hiatus and it's about to end. I hear it's never been better.
Wow.
Um,
Oh my god, yeah, I found Overdrive was my favorite song by them, by Stereo Pony. That is like, oh my god, that album was so fucking good.
Blasty from the
And it
past.
came out in 2010. Yeah, it was. They were performing it at. That's crazy.
Do you remember Larkin
I
Seal?
remember I bought the CD and they signed it. I don't know where it's at though.
Nice. Do you remember Larkin Seal?
Yes, for they did Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That was
Their big one was Ready Steady Go for the first Full Metal Alchemist, which I'm gonna say it again until the day I die, which might be soon if the fans have their way with me. Full Metal Alchemist original is a better show than Brotherhood.
yes, I know
Right,
we
that's one
disagree
that
on
we
many
agree on.
things, Andrew, but I agree with you that on that. Yep.
Yeah.
I love the original Full Metal Alchemist show.
Jimmy, listen, I didn't say better adaptation. Obviously, Brotherhood's a better adaptation.
Yes.
But as a standalone show, for what it is, I think the pacing, the emotions, they just hit so much harder. And Brotherhood is
There's actual
rushed.
character. There's actual character development in the original show. There's no character development, or not. No, there's much less in Brotherhood.
What you watch first
No,
matters.
I understand.
Yeah, totally. But Brotherhood
Yeah, but like,
assumes that you've watched the original because it fast forwards
yes,
through so
that's
much
the issue
stuff.
with it. Brotherhood only works if you've watched the original, because I'm sure the storyline in Brotherhood is better than what they chose to do, because the original show deviates from the manga.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably better because it's it's the author's original intent and all that stuff. But because of it, there's no like the original series. There's a bunch of episodes to start off, which is just you feeling out the characters of Alphonse and Edward.
Yeah.
Edward and Alphonse Elric. And in Brotherhood, they just jump you straight into it.
Yeah,
It's
they're like, you know who
0
these
to
are.
100 immediately.
Yeah. I can't stand that.
So I actually never even finished Brotherhood, not because I disliked it. I just I'm like, so much of it was just like the first season, but in a different order. I understand it deviates by the end and it actually goes by the original manga.
Yeah.
Like the farther it goes into the show. But I was like watching it. I'm like, well, I've seen this, and I've seen this already. I know these story beats already. So like I understand that that was also like 15 years ago. I'll have to watch it again at some point. I'll have to give it another shot. But
I do think the ending is better.
Me not finishing it is definitely in relation to what Jimmy said, where it's like it depends on what you watch first. Like what you watch first matters. Because part of me was like, well, I like the original more than that, and for that reason, like I like what the original did there. But I also think there's an element of like when I was watching Brotherhood, there's just you don't really get to know Edward and Alphonse in it. It works off the knowledge, like you said, Andrew, that you watched the original series already, so you already know these characters.
Yeah. There are so many moments. That was the first show that I ever cried at. First anime that I ever cried at. You all know the scene. You all know what it was. And when that scene happened again in Brotherhood, I was sad, but I was sad because I was thinking of how it happened in the original. And it just fast forward. They're like, okay, you know this part. You know this already. You know this. Let's get to the new stuff. And then by the time they do, it's like the new stuff is like pretty good. Like I just didn't love any of the stuff that everyone was clamoring for because it was more true to the artist's original vision. And it's like, sure, that is important. It's a better adaptation, but I like where they went. Why was I don't want to say. So Sloth. So they changed around the homunculi, What I will say is the character of Sloth in the original should have been in Brotherhood. I don't think there's barely any of the new characters that I even really like. Like Lau and his sister are fine. I really like Armstrong's sister. She's great. Jimmy says I watched Brotherhood first, never read the manga, felt it had emotion since I had no expectation or comparison. So
No, like it definitely has emotions. It just doesn't have as good character building as the first show. Like the
yeah,
first show, like Edward and Alphonse have a lot more room to breathe for you to get to know them. And in Brotherhood, they really just kind of throw you into the deep end.
yeah, for sure. And that's not to say like it's bad or that it's there is no
No, yeah,
emotion.
exactly.
Like it's still very emotional. I still cried, plenty of times in Brotherhood. But I mean, it's like a deep gut wrenching emotional core from the OG. All your beats are comparing it to the other. This is an interesting take. Yeah, because on its own, it kind of assumes, like I said, that you've seen the original. So maybe if I don't know. I'm trying to give it more credit. Like, obviously, if I had only seen Brotherhood, I wouldn't be comparing. But like, just because it's a better adaptation doesn't mean it's a better production or a better show. And I always wonder, like, is there a way to do an ultimate supercut where you get like the first, I don't know, maybe
Like
half
10 episodes or something.
Yeah, or yeah, maybe a little more than 10 episodes, but like maybe the first half of the original and then the last like 75% of Brotherhood, put them together in one ultimate cut. There's so much that changes so gradually that I think it would be really difficult to, but I bet somebody could do it and have like this is the ultimate Full Metal Alchemist experience.
A bit of a, I mean, in thinking of anime, it just gets me thinking of like, man, the shows that were popular when we were in college, Naruto, Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop has been, I don't know what it's like now, but like, I remember even though at the time when we were going to anime conventions, in college, nearly, God, 20 years ago. Yeah, because I mean, dude, my 20th high school graduate, my 20th, yeah, my whatever 20th anniversary of high school, whatever reunion. There's no reunion, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
20 year. It's been 19 years ago that I graduated high school, so next year will be the 20th, right?
Same.
A year later was my first anime convention, which was ZenkaiCon back when it was super small.
Yeah.
And so I remember going to the Slants performed there.
Yeah.
I still remember that. It was a great time.
Before all the litigation, which they won.
Yes, thank God. But I just think about what were the popular shows, like the big shows were Bleach, Naruto, Death Note, yes, Death Note,
Inuyasha,
Full Metal Alchemist. Inuyasha was it was kind of in the weaning years. Cowboy Bebop was that consistent level of like never the top but nowhere near the bottom either.
Right. Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball are always around.
Are also like consistent throughout. And then by the end of like where I was going to anime conventions consistently, Black Butler, remember Pirate Batman, as Uncle Yo joked about. He's Pirate Batman. He's a rich kid who fights crime with an eye patch. I should love this. It's Pirate Batman.
Wow, Uncle Yo is sending me back.
Yeah, oh man, I know, right? So yeah, I was thinking about that, and then I'm like, man, I haven't been to an anime convention in probably a decade.
Wow.
And I'm curious, like, what are the big animes now? Like, I know for a while it was probably My Hero Academia. That was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4.
Probably still is.
I wonder what it is now.
I would say if there is a new big 3, so to speak, it's probably My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer.
Okay.
Which Jujutsu Kaisen is stellar, and is super worthy of it. I actually, this is kind of a hot take. I don't really like Demon Slayer. I think it does. I think My Hero.
Where can you watch these right now?
A lot are on Netflix. A lot are on Hulu. Obviously, everything's on Crunchyroll if you have that. Which you can still, I think, watch most of the Crunchyroll stuff for free. You just have to watch ads. But Netflix and Hulu are huge on anime.
I might, so we were trying to do an extra quarterly quest, a little behind the scenes from last weekend. We had to drop it because from personal stuff on my end. Nothing like too serious, just like my schedule just kind of blew up. So the schedule I was hoping to have just kind of blew up.
Yeah.
So when my daughter goes to kindergarten, though, which is going to be in this fall, I will have more time. So I might. Okay. Between Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia, which one should I focus on? I might watch both at some point, but if you had this is not a quarterly quest, but I kind of want to oh, Jimmy says My Hero Academia.
Okay, I have thoughts. My Hero moved me more. My Hero, I cried at almost every single episode for so many reasons because it's so emotional in so many ways. However, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is a better made show. It's also only 3 seasons. My Hero Academia is 7 seasons long.
And how many episodes in each season? 20 some odd? Is it 10?
I don't know if it's a 13 or a 26 for each season.
You know what? Hold on.
It might, or sometimes they're 12.
If I just search the television show, it says 8 seasons. Does it say how many episodes? That's what I'm looking for. 2016 to 2026 is when it was going.
Right, 8 seasons. That's
13 episodes. 13 episodes. It seems like per season, just about.
Yeah. Okay, so it is
up
only
to
13. Yeah, you can get through them pretty quick because police.
Oh, there's 21 in season 7.
Okay.
There's 25 in season 6. Okay.
Okay, so they doubled up.
There's a lot. There's a oh god, yeah. The season 4, 5, 6, and 7 all have 25.
Okay.
Which isn't necessarily going to scare me away. How do you spell Jujutsu Kaisen?
JUJUTSU.
Okay, I see. I found it.
Well, and Jimmy says both have great dubs for what it's worth. I would wholeheartedly agree. I would say My Hero Academia, definitely watch dub. It's excellent. And then
I always watch the dubs. I never really watch the subs. I know that's blasphemous, but I generally don't care all that much unless it's noticeably worse. And 9 times out of 10 now, they're not noticeably worse. I'm not saying that. I'm sure people would have preferences and whatnot, but I just don't care enough.
Yeah, I definitely have a preference for the dub of My Hero, and then Jujutsu Kaisen. They're both good. They're both solid.
So much less.
Yeah.
There's 24 episodes in season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. There is 23 in season 2 and only 12 in season 3. So that's a little over 50 some odd episodes.
Yeah. There's also a movie in between.
It's 49. Sorry, it's it's 59 episodes or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, and you can get through those pretty quick. Especially once the story gets rolling and you're like, holy shit, they always end on crazy cliffhangers and you gotta watch the next one. And it's really, really good, and I like it has so much of its own identity. My Hero and JJK both feel like they have their love letters to the anime, the shonen anime that came before it, and they carve their own path and they're doing their own thing in super interesting ways. Demon Slayer is just as popular, but I was watching Demon Slayer, and this is an old man take, I know, but I was like, this is just Inuyasha. I saw this in Inuyasha. I saw this in Bleach. They're just doing that again prettier, and it is very pretty. But I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Not in a mean way, but I was like, what? I just don't. I want to care, but the show is not making me care. There's only 2 characters.
Where can you watch My Hero Jujutsu Kaisen?
I think we watched both on Crunchyroll. but
Hmm.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure they're both on Hulu as well.
I'm gonna see. Yes, it says it's on. Google says it's on Hulu, which I have, thankfully.
Nice.
And
Uh,
My Hero.
Jimmy says Amazon has My Hero.
Oh, really? Also, apparently, Viki Rokuten has it for free. I don't know
Oh,
what that
Viki
is.
Rokuten. Get the
Rakuten.
out of
Yeah,
here.
it's like it's. Oh, you have to get a. Okay, you watch the first episode with. Fuck you.
What's the
Get the
point of
fuck out of
that?
here. Everything else is you need the pass. You need the pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see. Oh, it says Prime Video requires an add-on though, so I don't know if that needs like a Crunchyroll add-on or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you have Hulu, I think they're both on there.
We'll see. I'll take a look. But yeah, maybe I will. Uh, maybe I'll give one of those a shot because I still have some of my anime. I'm kind of sad I gave away so many of the DVDs, but at the same time, like I was thinking about it, I gave away so much. I donated so much to like a electronics like recycling thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then other ones was like just sold at a yard sale. I'm like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have sold some of these. Like some of these are probably hard to find. Uh, but then at the same time, like I never fucking watched them. I never
Mm,
watched them.
I know. I have a huge collection that I'm looking at right now that I'm like, what? I watched all of those like once, and then they just have been sitting in every house that I've moved to because I don't want to get rid of them.
I have the entirety of the Rama 1/2 series. I have
Nice.
Cowboy Bebop. I have Heat Guy J. I have the first season of School Rumble. I have Speed Grapher, which is a really good show, really fucked up show,
Speed
but
Grapher's
really good
cool.
show. Pumpkin Scissors, I've been meaning to watch. I have a
Another good one.
bootleg version of Trigun that I burned from a friend's DVD set. I think I have Gunslinger Girl still. I don't
I
know.
love Gunslinger Girl.
I did not care for it, but I also I watched when I watched that, it was at a time in my life where like how can I put this? Like I was watching things for the sake of watching things instead of just like absorbing them, if
Yeah,
that makes
that's
sense.
fair.
So like it's one of those ones where it's like I don't think there was like a chunk there was a couple years of my life where I want to say like late teens early 20s really into anime and all this other stuff and watching movies and all this other shit, and very few things hit me emotionally. I'm a lot better at like appreciating what I watch now. So it was one of those things where like I would watch and not absorb. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there were so few, as far as we knew anyway, there were so fewer anime out there that we were just like trying to get our hands on anything. That's where like I came across weird shows like Pumpkin Scissors and Black Cat that like on their own just aren't that great. They're fine, but like there's so much better stuff out there, but we were just watching it because it was there and it was anime and it was available. I'm zooming in right now on my phone to my uh, shelf across the room. From what I can see in my hyper zoomed in thing, I've got. Do you remember Dead Leaves? Like the proto trigger?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Oh, it's a super weird and trippy. It feels like somehow an even more trippy Gurren Lagann because it was the same team. It's a movie. Um, I've got a couple of. I've got a little bit of Dragon Ball. I've got all of Full Metal, the original Full Metal, single by single. Howl's Moving Castle, Jubei-chan, Ninja Girl Jubei-chan or whatever. Both Karas. Halo Legends, I would consider anime.
Mm.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which is not anime, but it's one that we watched last night, and it's because I quote it all the time.
I'm like, sorry, I'm literally picking up my mic stand just to see if I can see anything else.
Ninja Scroll. You gotta have Ninja
Oh,
Scroll.
Outlaw Star,
I watched Ninja
and I
Scroll.
also
Outlaw Star for the
and I
first
also have
time a
Ninja
couple years
Scroll.
ago.
From Up on Poppy Hill, which is a movie that I bought and I don't think I even remember much about.
That's the only Ghibli movie I've not seen. Like official
Castle
Ghibli.
in the Sky is there. Yeah, I used to have like a fucking wall of anime.
Yeah. Spriggan. Did I ever show you Spriggan?
No,
Oh man, it's basically like
you know what? Yeah,
anime Halo. Steam Boy.
Steam Boy, that movie fucking rules
Love
too.
Steam Boy. Oh my god, Wrath of the Ninja. It was a terrible but awesome one-off movie. Oh man.
That I think I've done this before, but just thinking because I think I have Steam Boy on DVD, but I also have Steam Boy
On UMD.
on UMD.
I
Yeah.
know you do.
Do you know what else I have on UMD?
The Cowboy Bebop movie.
Yes, sir. There
And
you go.
I'm surprised that you don't have, nor have you ever heard of Tech on Kincrete, that movie that I made up the other week.
It's what?
It was a movie that it was an anime movie, a very weird, another very weird, trippy, balls to the walls anime. I would always see it on UMD, Tech on Kincrete, and Steam Boy. And it was just in theaters recently because it was its 20th anniversary.
I'm pretty sure, and sorry, real quick, just in thinking of UMDs, I went over on stream one time all the different movies I have on UMD, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Okay.
Before we get off,
nothing new has been added.
Okay. Before, I imagine you didn't buy any UMDs recently.
Well, unless do you want to watch? I got something for everybody, baby. Do you want a romantic comedy? I got Hitch.
Yeah.
Do you want a children's movie, a beloved '90s nostalgic childhood classic? I got Jumanji.
Hell yeah.
Do you want MTV's whatever anime? Aeon Flux.
Ooh.
Do you want? Are you a fan of the number 37? Because I got Clerks, and then finally, are you a fan of Jason Statham?
Transporter.
I got the Transporter.
Hell yeah. Jimmy says the art style was dope for Tech on Kincrete. Yeah, I forgot you watched that, Jimmy. After I was talking about it, sounds like it didn't land quite as much as I enjoyed it, but I appreciate you for watching it. Yeah, super rad art style. Again, very like Trigger, just bonkers camera angles, weird stretch and skew, very trippy.
Yeah,
man, I really hope you watch / enjoy My Hero and/or.
I'm hoping I have time to do it. I really want to. It's something I've been wanting to get back into, just anime in general. It's so hard to make time, I should say.
Yeah.
Because there's I'm still enjoying the Blacklist. I don't get to watch it nearly as much as I used to because now I can't really watch that with my daughter at home. I don't think she would want to see people getting killed in horrific ways. It's definitely not a kid's show. And between that and all the games I have to play, which, side note, I have been playing a ton of ActRaiser. I don't have much to say about it yet. That was my last thing tonight, was ActRaiser. I've been playing a lot of that. I'm getting close to the end already, which is kind of cool. It's not that long of a game.
Okay.
It's challenging, but it's not that long. Have you ever played ActRaiser or heard of it?
No, I've never heard of it. You were telling me it's like something in between like SimCity and a platformer.
Yeah, and
that's wild.
So it's Super Nintendo game. You start off each area by basically you go down. There's like 5 or 6 different areas. I think there's like a total of 8 throughout the game, and I think there's like 7 on the map, and then maybe like one final one that unlocks afterwards. I'm not sure yet. But you basically fly down and you do a side-scrolling level that ends in a boss. Once that's there, then a civilization can come in and get established, and you have to help build the civilization. There are monsters that spawn on the screen, and you have to take them out, not because they can kill you. I actually lost all my health, but if you lose all your health, you lose the ability to shoot your bow, which protects your civilians from getting killed or their stuff getting destroyed or this and that. And you have to guide them around the map to find the monster spawners, which they can then seal. And once you have sealed all the monster spawners, then you go back down one final time. There's one final like platforming level and a boss at the end. And once you do that, then they can live in peace. Though each area, like each civilization, each city that you kind of build up, has usually some type of quirk. Like sometimes like you manipulate the weather as like this god figure. Like in the desert, you have to make it rain so that way they can start planting crops. So it's no longer just arid sand. You can actually get like workable soil.
That's
Then there is
so
in
funny.
like a freezing section, you shine the sun on like snow patches so they can actually the grass will come back and they can grow the plants.
Huh.
There's even ones where like one civilization will give you an ability that you use on another civilization, so that way they can then like there's one that everyone was angry because there was a lot of hard strife, so you had to find another civilization that discovered music so you can bring music to them to heal their souls type of thing. There's
Whoa.
another one that's like dying of a plague, so I have to go find another civilization that has the cure for this plague and bring it back to them. It's interesting. It's really interesting. And as the population of the world grows, your power level grows. It's essentially just your HP. Your
Mm.
attacks don't really go up, but your HP goes up. Um, yeah, it's really cool. I think I've done all 6 out of the 8 civilizations, but I have to beat the boss on the 6th one. Like I've played the first side scrolling level for it, took out all the monsters. Now I have to beat the side scrolling level, and it's fucking hard as shit. This
Mm.
one, it is so obnoxious. And the only real penalty is that if you lose all your lives, then you lose the checkpoint. Um there like essentially in the platforming levels, like if you get certain far enough, you get like a halfway checkpoint. You don't like hit anything, you just like automatically get it. So if you die, you start from there.
Okay.
But if you lose all your lives, then you have to start from the level over from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like honestly like incredibly fair for a
Oh.
Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Like it really like and the levels aren't long. Like I might try to beat it tonight before I go to bed. I
Hmm.
don't know, but it's really interesting so far. So I'm
Eh,
gonna my patrons chose that. I'm gonna be doing that for a patron chosen episode, and I'm hoping to knock that off the list. So there's just one less game that I have to play. Then
yeah.
I'll be down to just Max Payne and Near Replicant.
Nice. Jimmy says it's an underrated masterpiece, and to watch some speed runs of it, I'll definitely check that out. In
It's
my head, I was like, "How does this game work?" It's a platformer, but then also like city resource management.
there's not a lot of resource management, thankfully. It's more just like directing your civilization in the physical direction of, hey, build in this square, build in this square, build in this square. It's just like squares that you can choose.
Mm.
um, and you have to have them build towards the monster spawners. Once you're able to get them to the monster spawner, you tell them to build in the direction of the monster spawner, and then they seal it.
Okay.
um,
I don't know how to
so
quantify
that
this, but the name ActRaiser and the premise from what you're telling me makes me feel like it should have been on the Genesis instead of the Super NES. I don't know why.
I, well, actually, you're gonna like this actually. So there is some Genesis connections, sort of.
Mm.
Let me see who developed ActRaiser. I don't even know. Quintet developed it, and Square Enix. Okay, I did not know that. Developer was Quintet, publisher was Enix. Quintet was an interesting developer on the Super Nintendo. They made ActRaiser 1 and 2, Soul Blazer, which is a really popular like side-scrolling uh, action RPG.
Hmm.
They also made Illusion of Gaia on the Super Nintendo,
Okay.
which was an action RPG, and Terranigma, which did not come out in North America, but it's like a really solid game. Um, they have since not like they have since gone out of business, but apparently they helped. Wow, this is wild. So apparently Quintet also helped Sega AM2 make Shenmue.
What?
Yeah, like they're credited as development support.
And that's called a
Um,
full circle callback in this business.
so the other thing is the reason there's a Sega connection. The composer of this game is the legendary, the iconic Streets of Rage composer Yuzo Koshiro.
Yo, nice.
And dude, this is wild how much of this is circling back to stuff you've said earlier in the
Yeah.
episode. So, the Shenmue connection,
Mhm.
Yuzo Koshiro and Sega connection to what you just said. Additionally, the soundtrack Yuzo Koshiro made for this game blew away Nobuo Uematsu so much that he scrapped all the music he worked on for Final Fantasy VI and redid it to one up Yuzo Koshiro because that's how impressed he was with the soundtrack. I don't know if that's apocryphal or not. I have to
Whoa.
do some research to see if there's quotes from that. But from what I remember hearing, like the game that you're going to be playing soon, that you were talking
Yeah.
about playing, Final Fantasy VI, Nobuo Uematsu heard Yuzo Koshiro's soundtrack for this, and I'll be honest, I don't think it doesn't. It's not my cup of tea.
Oh.
Like you might listen to it and be like, "Why is this?" Like you might get hipster Joshish about it yourself, where it's just kind of like this is as good as everyone's saying it is. Maybe you will. I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with it, but though the side-scrolling music for like the first couple levels is like for like the first world is really fucking good. It's really good. But a lot of it is just kind of like I don't know, it just doesn't do it. Anyway, not important. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think of the soundtrack because Nobuo Uematsu thought it was fucking great
Yeah.
and was like, "Holy shit! What this guy's doing stuff on the Super Nintendo? I didn't know you could do. I need to get this shit done." And so he apparently one-upped his work on the next game. Because let me double check. Well, maybe it was actually for Final Fantasy IV, not 6, because ActRaiser came out in 1990 in Japan.
Oh wow.
So it's a really early Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
A really early Super Nintendo game. Uh, I would have to double check on that. Let me see if like they have Uematsu. No. All right. Let me Google. So ActRaiser Uematsu. Let me see what it.
Ooh, Amatsu.
So on Time Extension, which is a pretty credible website, ActRaiser, the Super Nintendo classic that signaled the dawn of a new generation. Yeah, so let me double check. Okay. Yeah, let me find it. Yeah, okay, so I actually, yeah, from Time Extension, and I quote, "We'll never be able to reach that level." Final Fantasy Legend Nobuo Uematsu's reaction to Yuzo Koshiro's Super Nintendo debut. Um, and there's a video around. Yeah, there's a video of it. So the clip is taken from a 2010 interview with Uematsu, in which the impact of Quintet's ActRaiser is discussed. And yeah, during the interview, the composer is asked about a common story that's just ActRaiser's music influenced his work on Final Fantasy IV, not 6. My apologies, 4. He goes, "Yes, that's true. However, rather than calling it influence, the music for Final Fantasy IV was already almost finished by the time ActRaiser was released. And when ActRaiser finally came out, we were all like, it's out. It may have been the first RPG released on the Super Famicom. Our first RPG on that console was highly anticipated, and of course, we wanted it to be a success. ActRaiser was released before our game, and its sound was completely different from ours. In that respect, our work was clearly inferior in terms of sound quality. So when the sound programmer and I listened to the sounds of ActRaiser, it gave us goosebumps.
Wow.
We kept saying to ourselves, we'll never be able to reach that level. I remember that we went. Oh my gosh. I remember that we then went back to our office and completely reworked the sound design of Final Fantasy IV. But even after that, the final result was still inferior to ActRaiser. It was a game that was truly outstanding in terms of sound design."
After that recommendation, I gotta check it out.
I don't go into it with like a grain of salt, pinch of salt, whatever the fuck. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you'll be blown away by it. I think more or less it's impressive for the time. That's kind of how I'm like. Even though I'll listen to it and be like, well, like this doesn't do anything for me emotionally. I think Uematsu was looking at it from a technical perspective because,
Yeah.
in all honesty, like listening to it now, thinking this is a 1990 game, right? A game that it is one of the first Super Nintendo games released
Ever.
Yes, because let me double check as well. If I go back to ActRaiser, came out on December 16th, 1990. The Super Nintendo came out in Japan on November 21st, 1990. It is a launch title for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
It is less than a month after the launch of the system in Japan. So that is a launch title game, and that's yeah. So that makes sense. It blew people away. It came out in November of '91 in North America, which was also in the launch window for North America. August 23rd, 1991 was the launch of the Super Nintendo in North America.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, dude. Like it is genuinely crazy how like important this game is in game history and for how little it's discussed.
Yeah, I've literally never heard of it. That's wild. And that was so August '91 was what 2 months after the Genesis came out? Because I think that was
the Genesis.
June of
yeah,
91.
the Genesis beat the Super Nintendo to market by
Not by much.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure the Genesis came out in '89 originally.
I thought it was 91 because this year's is the 35th anniversary of Sonic.
Hold on, I can tell you in just a moment. '89, yeah, it came out in '89 in North America.
Was Sonic 1 not a launch title?
No, it was not. It was not.
Whoa!
I didn't know you didn't know that. Yeah, Sonic 1 was a late
by 2 years.
Dude, the launch title for the system was we played it a whole bunch. You know, Rise from Your Grave,
Altered Beast.
Altered Beast.
Yeah,
Altered Beast. That was like a pack-in title before. So like it took a while for Sega to find their foothold in the market space. It really wasn't until the original Sonic the Hedgehog where all of a sudden they had this giant hit on their hands.
Yeah, that is wild to me. All this time I thought, because I always have known Sonic 1 came out in 91, then I was like, oh yeah, that must have been when the Genesis came out. That's insane.
No, Genesis came out in October of '88 in Japan.
Holy shit.
As the Mega Drive, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's crazy. It's nuts to think about. So yeah, '89 is when that came out in North America. So it beat the Super Nintendo to launch by like 2 years, almost 2 years exactly, just about. So that was the thing. Like I talked about it I did a Super Nintendo retrospective episode. What was it? It was last year because it would have been for the 35th anniversary of its Japanese launch. This would be the 35th anniversary of the North American launch this year.
Right.
But it was the 35th of the Japanese launch last year, and I did an episode with Dan Greenberg and Nadia Oxford. Shout out to Nadia, the book I reviewed for her. But
shout outs to Syphilis.
Oh yeah, from the Roger Rabbit giving her NES syphilis.
Thank you for offering the context because it sounded really mean otherwise.
Yeah, right. But no, we talked about how like that era of like console wars was so unique, and I don't think because I don't think there's ever going to be anything like it again because the next closest console war, in my opinion, was the PS3 versus the 360.
Really? I feel like it was original Xbox, GameCube, PS2.
No, because PS2 blew them all out of the water so much.
Yeah, but
PS2 like ran like it wasn't even fucking close. I would say Halo versus the PS2 is probably a better comparison than the original Xbox.
Yeah, I was
the PS2.
Thinking more on the obviously everyone knows the PS2 outsold like gangbusters, but specifically like the loyalty to specific franchises and IPs, I feel like was a big part
yeah,
of
but
that.
like the GameCube sold so poorly. The original Xbox, it didn't sell poor. Like by comparison, the original Xbox sold poorly. So here's like, hold on, let me bring up the top selling consoles. Oh, come on, top.
I know the PS2 like dominated.
Yeah, but
in terms of
you don't
games.
But I don't think you understand. Yeah, but the games don't matter if the console didn't sell nearly as much.
I'm just going off of. I remember it being a kid back then, and every magazine was like, which console are you gonna buy? Like, what game do you want to play?
But that's prior to the consoles coming out. Once it's out, Sony ran away with everything. Hold on. So the original Xbox sold only 24 million units. The Nintendo GameCube sold 21 million units. The PS2 sold 160 million units. Like, it's not even close. The reason I said the PS3 and the 360 is because they are right next to each other, just about. They are 9 and 10. PS3 sold 87.4 million, and 360 sold approximately 84 million. So, like, the the reason I say you don't see a lot of console wars like it is because, to me, a console war has to be close in terms of sales numbers. Like, they have to have like this competitive back and forth. There was so little competition during the PS2 because it just ate every other console's lunch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there weren't good games on the other systems. Like, the Nintendo GameCube is great. The original Xbox is great for their own things, for different reasons. But by comparison to the PS2, they fucking lost like crazy. And I like, Xbox didn't have as much to lose as Nintendo did because it was an inaugural console. They knew it wasn't going to sell as well as the other. They were hoping to get a foothold, which they did, because then the 360 sold comparatively to the PS3.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't think that console war is as iconic as the Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis is because the Wii was also mixed in with that, and the Wii technically outsold all of them.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but but not by nearly as wide of a margin. Also, I don't know if you remember, but like the the gaming conversation back then was like, well, the Wii is kind of like for casuals. Us hardcores play the 360 and PS3. The Wii has some good games, your Marios every now and then. They got a good Mario game coming in, a Zelda every now and then. But for the most part, you ignored most of the other Nintendo titles, with the exception of maybe Mario and maybe Zelda,
Smash,
and maybe like Smash. Yeah, that was pretty much it. And the Nintendo faithfuls would play, your Kirby's, your the I was about to say Star Fox. I don't think there was a Star Fox on the Wii.
No,
I know there was on the Wii U.
Wii U,
but
yeah.
That's
no,
that's
Star Fox Armada, or was that Wii U?
I don't know. Star Fox Armada, but like
or Assault. I don't know. So
it just, but like the Super Nintendo sold 49.1 million. The Mega Drive sold 30.75. So the Super Nintendo ended up winning it, but like Sega, the reason why I think that the Genesis versus the Super Nintendo to me is much more unique is that when the 360, PS3, and the Wii were around, the big three all had footholds in a market and were all competitive with each other.
Yeah.
So while there was a console war, there wasn't nearly as much of like a lightning strike of one. The Genesis versus the Super Nintendo was a lightning strike.
Yeah.
It was a stake in the ground because up until that point, with Atari dying in North America, and then, just to be clear, anyone watching the VOD of this afterwards, this is very North American centric. The world is obviously very different. Outside of North America, the Mega Drive / Genesis was by far more popular than the Super Nintendo. But in North America and Japan, the Super Nintendo beat it out. So from this North American perspective, I'm speaking, like, in North America, after the console crash of 1983, which once again, that's North American specific, the world did not experience it. That is a common misconception. The video game market crash in 83 is specific to game consoles in North America. And that effectively didn't kill Atari, because Atari's around now, but their market share was basically gone. Nintendo comes in 85 and owns the market. I remember seeing at one point, I could be misremembering it, but I could have sworn I remember seeing, like, at one point in time, at the height of the NES, they had like 80% of the market.
Whoa.
Like 80% of the video game market was Nintendo only. The the Master System barely sold anything. The TurboGrafx didn't do a whole lot in North America. It did some, but it didn't do anywhere near the NES. And the Genesis comes around, and it doesn't do a lot at first, because remember, it comes out in 89. It doesn't do a lot. But Sonic comes out the same year that the Super Nintendo comes out.
Yeah.
The same summer.
And that's what
so
starts.
You have
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
And so you have this holy shit, it's like Halo on the Xbox, right? This
Yeah.
brand new IP coming in and just blowing people
Killer
away.
app.
And you have Super Mario World, a launch title for the Super Nintendo in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Both launch relatively similar, and thus begins the console wars.
Yeah.
Then Mortal Kombat comes out, and the Genesis gets the blood version, and the Super
Right.
Nintendo gets the sweat version. That further brings puts it in. I remember at one point in time, Sega was outselling the Super Nintendo for a chunk of it. It was like 94's, like 92 when Street Fighter went to Super Nintendo first is kind of the start of it. Street Fighter 2 coming to Super Nintendo
Yeah.
started the turn, and then 94 with Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country,
Oh yeah.
like Final Fantasy six, I believe, came out in 1994, if I remember correctly, in North America. Like these just monster titles all coming out in 1994. That's what swayed it back towards Nintendo. But up until that point, remember, Nintendo had an 80% market share. And when Sega comes in, it had cut that down to nearly even between the two of them.
Oof.
Like, that's not just a console war, that's a disruption. That
Yeah.
is disrupting the entire market and ecosystem at the time. And when you have the console wars of 360, PS3, and Wii, there is no disruption with the exception of maybe like the Wii had motion controls and it brought a lot of like casual gamers in. But
Yeah.
that's not the same level of like monumental shift as going from an 80% market share down to splitting it 50-50.
Right. Plus, I feel like the choice there wasn't as like vast of a difference because by then there was so much that was on both consoles, and even like you said, yeah, Mortal Kombat was on Genesis and Nintendo, but they play different, they look different, they sound different. One of them has the fatalities and one of them doesn't. You know, like PS3 and Xbox 360 was just kind of like pick.
Do you want to play Uncharted or do you want to play Halo?
Right.
Do you want to play Killzone or do you want to play Gears? A lot of the other games on those systems were not there. There was a handful of like I think what's a the Ratchet and Clank games on PlayStation, and there was a handful of stuff on Xbox. But really, that console generation was interesting for a different reason, but not necessarily for the most. It's not necessarily as iconic. It's more business reasons, right? Like I feel like Genesis versus the Super Nintendo was like culture war, not in like the way it is now, but like console fanboy culture war.
Oh yeah.
And then the PS3, 360, and Wii, there's definitely was that, especially because the internet was a lot bigger, and you will see console flame wars all the time now. People will live and die PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo or whatever it is, and then be shitty to each other. I don't count any of that. Those are outliers. Those are people that are just crazy. But that console war from that generation is interesting because it was three companies trying incredibly different strategies. Nintendo going on the family focus, right? Like casual gamer, let's get everyone to play. This is your grandparents can play this because it's motion controlled. We're going full into the casual game market.
Everyone
Xbox
should have
went
a Wii.
full online. Xbox went full, Xbox Live. That's what made Xbox 360 was Xbox Live. The ability to do online multiplayer. They went full that. Sony went kind of what they were doing with the PS2 already, just going with exclusives, which is what they have done, and like has worked for the most part.
And it was the cheapest Blu-ray player you could get.
Yes, for a while, yeah. So they kind of stuck with the PS2 strategy, exclusives and a media player that you couldn't get for a better price,
and a console that
now
actually functioned for more than a couple of months before red ringing.
I think to me what's more interesting about the console generation is the fact that Xbox didn't crater with the Red Ring of Death, because that was brutal for them. And the fact that it didn't the fact that they didn't really, like, they lost the generation in terms of sales, but I would argue they won the generation in terms of cultural consciousness, right?
Oh,
like,
totally.
The 360 took up more space in like the minds of gamers, and like the PS3 to maybe until the end of the life cycle of the PS3 with like Uncharted 3 and Last of Us, where finally these like IPs that like these aren't just Sony fanboys, these are like fucking like amazing, phenomenal games that everyone needs to play.
Yeah.
But that was at the end of the life cycle. Last of Us came out in 2011. It might have been the same year the PS4 launched, or like less than a year before the PS4 launched.
Yeah, because they did a update on the PS4.
Shortly after that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like all that to say, shout out to food.
Shout
No,
outs to food.
but like I'm just double checking now. The original game came out in 2013, and the PS4 came out in 2013. Last of Us came out in the summer of 2013, and the PS4 came out in the fall of 2013. Like it was literally
Yeah.
the last giant game on the PS3 before the next console generation.
I still don't.
And
I see that in my head as a PS4 only game. It's still so weird that game came out.
really,
as
I
PS3.
look at it as a PS3 game.
Really?
That's interesting. Yeah, well, that's because I played it on that first.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
that's that's not surprising. But like to me, that's why that console generation is the closest to the Super Nintendo versus Genesis, because the next generation after that was N64 versus Saturn versus
PS1.
versus PS1, and PS1 destroyed all of them.
Yeah,
Like,
annihilated them.
but like it sold what is it? PS1 sold 102 million copies. Or 102 million consoles. The N64 sold 32.93,
That's wild.
and the Saturn sold way less than that. It sold 9.26,
Yeah.
right? Like it wasn't even. It's not even close.
That's so
Nintendo's interesting because they, like I said, they went from an 80% market share with the original Nintendo, and then sold a little bit less. They sold 62 million systems of the original NES/Famicom. Super Nintendo sold 49 million, right? So a little, like 15 million less. And then the N64 sold 33 million, if I'm rounding up a little bit, but 33 million. So like they progressively got worse. And then you get to the GameCube, which sold even worse, 21 million.
Yeah.
21.74 million. And so they're like losing market share. That's why during the PS2 era, there was a real talk of like, is Nintendo dying? Because they kept losing market share. And then the Wii comes out, and it's the 7th best-selling console of all time.
Right.
It really gave them a shot in the arm. Now, of course, during all that downturn, they also had the Game Boy and Game Boy Color selling like hotcakes. They also had the DS selling like hotcakes. Like, so their handheld section was really keeping them afloat too. But then after the Wii, you get the Wii U, which is like one of the worst selling consoles of all time. Only less than 14 million units were sold of that. But the 3DS was happening, and that sold 75 million, nearly 76. So they've always had their handhelds to like fall back on, but now they have the Switch, which is the second best selling console of all time, behind the PS2. So yeah, it's. I'm fascinated by the console wars. If you couldn't tell, I love talking about this type of shit.
Yeah, as somebody who doesn't really dive into this aspect of it's a lot. I don't have as much to contribute other than remembering what it felt like to be there. I will say what you want about the Wii U, and it was a complete failure of a system.
Oh, I love that system. It's a great system, but it was a failure, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just there's
a commercial failure. I'll put it that way. A commercial failure.
Yeah. It had like Splatoon, Smash, and Bayonetta 2.
And Nintendo Land, which was cool.
So that's exactly what I was going to say. One of the most fun nights I've ever had in my entire life was when I think Justin got the Wii U and he brought it over, and we were all playing Nintendo Land until like 5 a.m. Like we all had to go to school or work or whatever the next day. And I remember the sun coming up and all of us leaving like, oh my God, what have we done? But like the Animal Crossing one where you're eating all the candies and your head gets bigger, and then you gotta like use the dual analog as the guards to chase the guys down. That was so much fun. What a stupid little game. And we spent all night playing it and just like crying, laughing. That I think about that.
Nintendo Land's a good game, man. It is a great party game. It really is. It's a great party game for like it. The Wii U was just its downfall ultimately was due to its name, and it was also due to it just kind of what the PS3 had for a little while, just hard to develop for. Like, how do you develop for this new thing, this touchpad, along with Wiimotes? Like, I talked about it on, I forget where I talked about this. Maybe it was on this, but I think one of the reasons the Wii U failed, besides the name just being confusing as shit, because like old people aren't going to be able to know the difference between the Wii and the Wii U.
Yeah.
What kind of controller do you program your game for?
Right.
Because you have the Wii U pad, you have the Pro controller, and you have the Wiimotes. All control wildly differently. The Wii U pad and the Pro controller, you could argue control about the same, just in terms of button layout and placement and stuff like that. Even though I would say it's more uncomfortable on the Wii U pad. Your hand okay?
Yeah, I'm just certain.
We can wrap up. Sorry, I'm rambling at this point, but
Right.
But how do you design a game for that thing? Like, which experience are you trying to go for? Because if you're trying to design a game around the Wiimotes, then people are going to be justifiably more confused that it's not a Wii. But if you design around the gamepad, how do you know that's like everyone comes with it? I'm assuming you have to design around the gamepad, but I don't know. That thing I think was just harder to develop for because no one knew what to do with it just yet.
Yeah, I remember all the launch titles being like, "What are we like? Zombie U?" Or like even Batman. It was kind of cool because you'd have all your tools and stuff. You know, you'd have your little detective scanning thing, but it was gimmicky. It wasn't like the first party Nintendo games. Obviously knew how to develop for it, so they knew what to do with it. And everything else just felt like some weird tacked on unnecessary, like if they had called it Wii 2, that might have done way better, because it's like, oh, is this just an upgrade to the Wii? And it also was a weird like half step up.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, it was more than a half step. It went full. The Wii wasn't HD. The Wii U was full HD. It was the first HD Nintendo system. But anyway, we could keep on going. It is 11:30. We should probably wrap up.
It's
so your arm can heal, and we both have work in the morning.
Yep. And I need to check out that game that I've already forgotten the title of, Alter Bridge.
Alter Bridge.
AKA Diet Creed. Actress.
I would say Creed is Diet Alter Bridge.
Whoa, hot takes here.
Listen, I like both of them, but man, like Creed is like Alter Bridge is so much heavier than Creed was, and also Scott Stapp's a fucking nut job.
Yeah. Her latest turn.
The nerve today.
I love doing his voice. Police and I both do it around the house all the time. With arms wide open.
I know what his voice unfortunately kind of reminds me of, and I don't know, it might ruin it for you, so I don't know if you want me to say.
Oh no, you can say. Ruin it for me.
It kind of reminds me of like Mitch McConnell.
I'm definitely not dead.
I'm not pretending to be alive.
Oh my god. You ever see Weekend at Bernie's? I look like a turtle.
Under the sunlight.
Under the sunlight. Oh my god, he's rotten somewhere. Him and Lindsey Graham.
Welcome to this place. I'll eat all the leaves. I look like a turtle.
Oh god. Oh, okay. No, I have a whole nother thing to talk about, but
we'll save it. Oh, not for next week. I'm recording a podcast for Talk Tuesday next week, so I will not be here. I don't know if you'll have another guest or what you're doing, but I will not be here next week.
TBD.
Yeah.
Possibly, not sure. Yeah, no Josh next week. It'll either be just me, or I'll have a guest, or maybe I won't stream at all. Who knows? We'll see. And then tomorrow, I will either be starting Final Fantasy VI or Expedition 33. 33. Expedition 33.
Expedition Angine de Poitrine.
Angine de Poitrine. He's finally come around. No, I remember you texting me like that you heard their music again, and you're like, it's kind of growing on me.
It is.
Yes.
You grew on me. I hate you.
They're so freaking weird. I love them.
Yeah. I think the penis nose is what really kind of like, all right, guy, you're trying too hard. I get it. You got a swanger. It's all good. You don't have to show it.
You're like one swanger to another. I know. I get it. That thing's hanging. Those things be knocking around like those Newton's cradles.
I love periodically. I was at work. None of that was like English. I was talking with some friends and we were talking about the game Manhunt. Remember that Rockstar game Manhunt?
God, yeah.
And there's
So
an enemy in
edgelord.
it called Pigsy.
Yeah,
Which is like
with a
he's
chainsaw.
very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes, right? Like dude with a chainsaw, he's wearing a pig mask, but like if you notice, he's just wearing a loincloth and he's got a swanger.
Oh, really?
Like he's got his dick is just swinging around like crazy.
Ooh, the
And I
kabasi
remember
is out.
I called it a swanger, and they're like, "What?" Oh, they were like so grossed out by it because it is like such a gross way to describe a big cock, but it just makes me laugh.
The salami do be swanging. Swanging salami with
That was my high school band's name,
swanging salami. Yeah, that thing be hanging and swanging sometimes.
That was our first song,
Hanging and swanging.
number one.
By
Hanging and
swanging salami. Yeah, it's probably about time we wrap up.
I don't know
if
what this VOD's gonna be called. Is it gonna be like the dice that like the sugar dice that makes it look like our mouth bleeding, or is it gonna be swanging salami?
The first front runner in my head was something along the lines of like "Don't lie to me, Aardvark," because I really like that.
It's so good. Don't you lie to me, Aardvark.
Lie to me, Aardvark. But then
I don't know where she came up with that.
We talked about like cheating in video games for a while, so like I'll probably do something with like you lying, cheating, Aardvark, or something like to. I try to pull in as much of the biggest topic that we talk about for the longest.
I have a
As well
question.
as
When
a
you
joke.
do the thumbnail for it, right? Like the still image.
Yeah.
Are the laughing faces of us that you usually pick? Are those actually from the same moments in the episode, or do you cherry pick like this is a good laughing face from like 50 minutes into the recording, and this is a good laughing face for me from like 20 minutes in or something?
Sometimes they are from the same moment if it does work out that way, but a lot of times because we are on a little bit of a delay, or it's like you're like full on laughing and I'm like just starting to laugh, so like they don't often match up. But I'll find a moment and it's usually like a few frames within each other, so like. Most of the time, yeah, it's technically from two separate moments, but it'll only be for like a few seconds in between, like just like
Okay.
a clear shot of like both of us laughing or making a weird face or doing something
Yeah.
weird.
It's me like staring down the barrel of the camera. Don't you lie to me, Aardvark.
And I'll just be over here like, oh! Yeah.
All right, we gotta get going. It's late. It's 11:35.
It's too late. All right. Anything you want to pimp out before we peace out?
Pokemon Go episode coming out this Sunday for the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
2016.
Let me get. Sorry. This has to be quick because it's late. But my guest for the episode, I reached out to him to get his thoughts on this, but like he just had a baby, so I'm like, you know what, don't worry about this.
Yeah.
This is my anxiety. But so we start off the episode like we talk about it's the 10th anniversary, we like this game, but we want to address the elephant in the room right off the top with the controversies that's happened with it, with like Pokemon Go. It like basically the two controversies are one, the company was sold Bob had a baby, it's a boy.
I get the
don't
reference.
get the reference.
I get the reference to me. I didn't want to interrupt you though, Josh. Bob, we got a baby. It's a boy.
The two controversies, the two big ones. One is that Niantic sold. It split up into two companies. one half still owns the game rights, and the other half is literally took all the like geospatial data from Pokemon Go, and now it's like a military contractor. It's selling it to like drones and shit like that.
Oh
So
God, I
like
forget if I heard
all
about that
your
or not.
Pokemon Go data went to weapons, which
That
is
fucking sucks.
yeah. And then we also talk about how the owners of the games half of Niantic is the Saudi Arabia Trust Fund, like the public fund for Saudi Arabia, which
Well,
does humanitarian crimes. So it's like so we touch on both of those and we say like it sucks. Like we want to highlight the good stuff because this game meant a lot to a lot of people, but we want to address this off. So we start off the episode with the down stuff, and then it's probably maybe the first 20 minutes, and
yeah,
the rest of the hour, like it's another hour and a half of us just glazing the game.
yeah, nice. Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, it's part of the legacy of
But
it.
would you? I guess my question is, would you have done it off the top of the episode, or should I have waited? I just didn't want to do it in like the middle. Definitely not the end. Like you don't want to leave it out on a sour note. If anything, I would have done in the middle. But it would have felt weird for me to be like, here's all this happy stuff. Side note, here's some shitty things that happened. Let's go back to happy. I just
Yeah,
thought it would make in my mind's eye at the time of recording. I'm like, if we address it off the top, we can get it out of the way. Not saying like I not saying you should just like that we wanted to get it out of the way like just we just got to get it done so we can do the stuff we hate so we can get onto the stuff we like, but it is something that needs to get done, like
yeah.
it needed to be talked about.
I think, yeah, totally. You definitely don't want to leave it out. If I don't know, if it was my podcast, or if I was directing your podcast for some reason, I would maybe say go chronologically. And obviously, since this is something that has come out recently, do that at the end, but then do like a final thoughts slash favorite memories to end on a high note.
Okay, then what I could have done was covered in the middle. So 'cause the reason I say that, we ended the episode with 7 or 8 audio clips of people submitting like their memories around that summer of 2016 around
Nice.
Pokemon Go.
It was a time of
And
peace, like Jimmy said.
it really was. We talk about that so much about how like it was. We could go on and on about it. It's 11:40,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to get a second opinion. Like, is it like you would have done this? Do you think? I don't know. The more I'm kind of like thinking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? If people don't like it, I'm okay with it because to me, this makes sense in my head of like I'd rather talk about the negative stuff first so we can focus on the
Yeah.
more positive side of things at the end. And we even touch on it at the end of the episode again. We say we wanted to talk about the stuff up top. It is serious, so like please don't think that we're not serious about it. But this game did mean a lot to a lot of people for a long period of time. So even though now it's not really the same, it didn't tarnish my memory of it. It tarnishes me wanting to play it now, like I haven't uninstalled. But like it did not tarnish my memories, especially of 2016.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to say that the way that you went about it was the wrong way or bad or anything like that. That's probably my second way that I would do it is to get it out of the way first, and then get to the happy
Yeah.
stuff. It's, only since we talked about it, and since we're not going to talk again for 2 weeks before it's not that relevant. You mentioned the Saudi Arabian government.
Mhm.
Did you hear about GDQ?
No.
Oh, okay. So real quick, they were going to have SNK as a sponsor. SNK of Neo Geo fame, which is mostly owned by the Saudi Arabian government
Saudi.
now.
Yeah.
So they dropped them as a sponsor, and they were gonna have a whole like Metal Slug showcase. They're not doing that. So a bunch of runners are like understandable, but also like, oh, this is my chance to be on GDQ, and now I'm not. So this is that kind of sucks. Um, I I think for the most part, I'm with them because the Saudi government has like a 90% or something like that stake in SNK. So it's like, okay. But there are also other sponsors that they are still working with, that like AMD, which has like ties to like Israeli like tech companies, and it's like, well, we've seen what they're doing, so like, are you gonna drop AMD too? Are you gonna drop Nintendo and Capcom, who have partial stakes by Saudi agents as well? And it's like, if you're gonna call out all the bad stuff, like,
Yeah,
Why?
but how much? I guess how much? Like,
How much blood money is okay? Like,
I mean, unfortunately, in capitalism, that's the logic you have to go by,
yeah,
right? Like, and to me, I don't know. I don't know enough of like how much like AMD, for example, that's in like every fucking game console. All the game systems they're bringing in and playing, AMD probably has a processor, and
yeah,
definitely in the GameCube, I know for a fact because there's a fucking sticker on the GameCube for AMD,
right. It was that or
um,
Nvidia, which is like
which
they're
is
even
also not
worse.
great. Like,
Yeah,
not so it's one of those things where it's like, how can I put this? Like the Saudi public fund feels more politically motivated versus the other sponsors. I'm not trying to say to make it okay, but how can I put this? Like Saudi feels more deliberate in their awfulness
hmm.
versus the other companies feel more like it's just a byproduct of business. I don't think that makes it good or better. It's just one of those things where it's like where if you have to draw the line somewhere and no place you draw it is going to be good, you
Yeah.
know?
It's just like
So I don't know what the right I generally because even when I'm saying this I'm like that just seems fucked up because it's like Israel genocide on one hand and genocide on the other,
right. Lose
like
lose. Some people are saying like, okay, so take the blood money and you're still putting it towards a good cause. Like you're
that
taking
too.
their money and still giving it to like pro LGBT, So it's like, and now that's money that those charities are not getting. So it's complicated. I don't envy anyone who had to make that decision, and it does suck to have to be like, okay, well, a 5 or 10 or 15% stake in a company in the way of like Nintendo or Capcom is okay, but once you get up to like really high numbers, then we're not okay with. So we do have a price, and it's like, oh, I just don't like any of it all around.
I think the reality of it is, and what Jimmy says, we're masters of compartmentalization, condemn blood money in theory while living comfortably off its dividends. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think really what it comes down to, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, is that there it's to me it's how direct is the harm because every company is causing harm in some way, shape, or form.
sure.
What's that expression? There's no ethical consumption in capitalism
Yeah, yeah.
because there's always someone getting dicked over, right? And I'm not necessarily like a complete anti-capitalist, but I am becoming much more angry with it the older I get, and the more like not desensitized, like disillusioned. That's what I'm looking
Mm.
for. Disillusioned with it. Um, but like it's one of those things where it's like because of the world we live in, no matter what you do, the food you eat is harvested by people who are getting criminally underpaid. The shoes you make are being made by people who are getting underpaid, whether it's in a sweatshop or not. Like I know that's the stereotype, but regardless of where it's being made, generally a lot of the products we consume are being made by people who are not getting paid the value of what they're producing, right? So when it comes to that, I basically just kind of give everyone a bit of grace because you can't win
Yeah,
unless you make every single thing yourself.
yeah.
You cannot win in the choices you make. Do you want to play video games? Too fucking and do you want to play any video games? You're gonna be you have given money to someone some company that has done something awful, whether it's funding our current Cheeto in chief, whether it is like funding a country that is committing genocide, whether it's funding a country that looks the other way on poor treatment of workers. Like you it really falls into the no ethical consumption under capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So,
And you can't boycott everything.
and you can't
You
boycott
just
everything. So,
can't.
to me, it's one of those things where you have to draw the line in the sand for yourself and judge as little as possible other people for their lines
Yeah.
because everyone's values are different. I got off of Twitter because it's run by a neo-Nazi. Am I mad at other people who still use Twitter? No, I know you still use Twitter
Yeah,
periodically to post stuff.
I
Um,
I have a large chunk of a following over this. My following is not large, but of my following, a large chunk of it is there. Unfortunately, I don't know if it brings
yeah,
more people in. I don't know. I don't pay
but
for anything on Twitter. I just post to get.
I don't judge you for it because I have friends who still use it. I have acquaintances that still use it. Um, I try to use Amazon as little as possible because of Jeff Bezos. Am I am I going to, you know, be pissed off at a friend for ordering something from Amazon? No, because I just went to Walmart earlier today to buy stuff. Walmart's not that much better.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't have I don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to it. So to me, it's pick what you value and prioritize that with your money and dis un you know pick which things you don't want to prioritize with your money because you don't approve of how the company is handling it or whatever it may be, and you just go from there. And
Yeah.
that's the best you can do. That is generally the best you can do. There are certain things that come along where I feel like it's pretty universal. Like people have been pretty pissed off at Microsoft for their support of Israel, and there's been a lot of backlash for that. But you're playing Xbox games. You played Halo out on
Right.
Games Done Quick. Microsoft is a big proponent of Israel as well. Like you can't. What are you going to do? So I think it's just one. Like I said, it just everything you choose is going to come from somewhere that probably has hurt someone at somewhere along the line
Yeah.
or done something atrocious somewhere along the line that you have no idea, that there's no possible way you could know. So I just give people grace because there is no to me. Jimmy says he plays Linux games. It takes 5 hours to set up and then it crashes like 13 times. But golly, shit out, it runs smooth for 5 minutes. Solitaire. Sorry, it cut off, so I didn't see it was solitaire. I thought it was two different words at first. Solitaire. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
So.
But yeah, like I'm actually considering switching over to Linux because of Microsoft. But like, you know what? I'm also not. That's mainly because of the AI thing, not even because of the genocide. So how fucked up is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's my line in the sand is the AI because we won't have a planet to come back to prevent other genocides if we don't stop
Right.
climate change.
I
So
know.
to me, climate change is like my biggest line in the sand. I will do everything in my power to support more eco-friendly things as best I can.
Yeah. While
but yeah,
reducing harm in other areas.
Yeah.
Like nobody's perfect aside from like going and living like out in the woods in the hollowed out tree, which don't hollow out a tree. There's only so much you can do unless you're completely like off the grid. You can't boycott everything.
Yep.
Just reduce as much harm as you can. Support the things, the direct lines of defense and causes.
Even if you can do that, and you get a whole bunch of friends to do it with you, now you're in a commune and you look like a crazy person. So is that what you want too? You know what I mean? Like there's no winning. So I get frustrated by the outrage machine on the internet because people who are part of it act like they haven't partaken in something that has also contributed to a genocide somewhere, whether they knew it or not.
Right. They angrily tweet about it from their iPhones, of which the cobalt mines in Congo people died for them to be able to hold it.
To be able to use. So it's one of those things where it's like
Jimmy, stop this. We're wrapping up.
This reminds me of Dark Souls. No.
Okay, bye.
But yeah, I know I'm just kind of repeating myself, but I think it's important. I think I'm laying into this point because the internet's too fucking judgmental. It is too like everything. Like each political ideology is so fucking judgmental about something. I personally go more left-leaning because I feel like they're judgmental over things that are more important than fucking how a woman's body looks, which is usually conservatives, or like
define woman.
Yeah, that, and then they go into that, but like, people just get mad. Like, what is it? I remember for a while, like, it's not nearly as serious as the stuff we're talking about, but like people would get mad. People get mad at like a TV show for having a character who's shitty, and the people who actually like pay attention to it is like that's the point. They're supposed to be a bad character, so that way you can learn from them. They're
Yeah.
not a role model. Like the Wolf of Wall Street is not like is not like a movie that to aspire to. Now there are dude bros who have looked at it and taken the wrong message from it. That is a like where do you stand on art when it comes to that, when there's a chance for people to misinterpret what the intention of the message is.
Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club, yeah. uh but even so, like there's so many people even on leftists who are like, well, you can't fucking do that because this person, like, why do you like this character, they're a bad person. I'm like, I can like a character and not think they're a good person.
Right.
Like I can enjoy the decisions they make, not because I think they're good decisions, but because I find them interesting and engaging as a character.
Yeah, I'm not
And Jimmy says,
aspiring.
"Well, duh,
Oh,
we gotta point fingers at our neighbor, but we can't point at who's really the problem."
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing to it. It's like there's so little you can really do. So like the best you can do, if whatever company, whatever you feel most led for, you have to put boots on the ground and organize. Like you can't just talk shit on the internet and be mad at people for using Microsoft or playing Xbox or going to Walmart. If you really want to make change, you have to fucking organize. And that something uh, Amanda Smile Takes has talked about a lot, that leftists, because she's progressive. She is a progressive, and she talks about how like for the longest time people will be, especially people on the left, are mad about stuff, but they don't want to put the work into change. They just want to be able to show, they want to have the shiny button that says, look how good of a person I am. But that counts for fuck all if you're not willing to make a change.
Yeah, and we're
That
notoriously
doesn't matter
disorganized.
what your values are if you're not willing to work to make the world more like your values.
Yeah. Yep. And everything gets subcommitteed and divided and fucking. We're
You know
notoriously
what? We can
disorganized.
go out on this because it is almost midnight.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
go out on this. In terms of something like putting the fucking work in, right? Not right now, but happening soon. Go over to. Hold on. Let me look up the website for you real quick. It is. Oh, geez, where is it at? Let me. I have to go to Amanda's Nelson's account. But they are organizing this big thing because let me find it for you. I'm sorry. It's called 1,000 Miles to Memphis, and it's a voting rights march. They are walking from Nashville, Tennessee, down through like Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, and whatnot, all the way back up. They're doing a loop essentially.
Wow.
It's 1,000 miles, and they're marching from Nashville, and they're going to end in Memphis. They're going to start in Tennessee and end in Tennessee, but they're kind of doing a loop around. And it's to get people. Their goal is to raise $1 million for like down ballot candidates. And why don't they fly? Missing the point.
Why don't they take Taylor Swift's private jet?
And they're going to also try to get 100,000 people to register to vote. That's like their goal through this march. As they march, because they are physically marching, they're going to probably go door to door and get people to register to vote.
Yeah.
But her point is, like, she's putting the effort in. Like, her and fellow content creators, they're not just talking shit online. They're not just covering news. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're giving their time and efforts to something they believe in. And one of the things I just kind of learning more about American history, the real American history, is that civil rights, a lot, not all, but a lot of the progress we've seen in terms of civil rights comes from the South. Conservatives and bigots and crazy people like that, they test their ideas in the South before they move it out to the rest of the U.S. You can see it. The South isn't red, it's gerrymandered, it's voter suppressed. And I'm not saying it's going to be not red in years. I'm not saying that the vast majority of people don't even aren't on that side, but it's not nearly as red as you think it is because so many people have been voter suppressed out of it. You can see it with Georgia over the last couple of years. It's been slowly going more blue, and you know why? Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams has been put in the. She's someone that has gone out and to get out the vote. She has registered tons, like hundreds and hundreds of people to vote, and taught people about their rights about voting. She is organizer in Georgia specifically that gets people involved in their local communities, in the local politics of their local communities. And she like this march is to get people to one, register to vote, be more active in their local communities, the politics of their local communities, because apparently I don't know, I'd have to double check the sources on it, but in one video she talks about how like don't donate to the big candidates like the senator races and all this other stuff. By donating to down ballot candidates so they can become more noticeable, it actually helps, like the vote trickles up to the candidate, like the senator or the House of representative that you want to win. That money goes further for down ballot candidates in terms of getting people even higher up, like the ballot. I will find the video. I can find where she got her research to see if it's accurate or not. But
Yeah.
when she said, you know, the thing, they try shit in the South and then export it to the rest of the country. The Democratic Party has left the South alone for over a decade, and you're seeing the fruits of that now. They haven't even tried fielding people. They're not helping the candidates run in those places. So like, this is like, content creators are organizing and really Amanda Nelson started this whole thing called Y'all Vote, which is like a coalition of Southern progressive content creators trying to just, they know they're not going to win now, but that's not the point. The point is like, if people aren't seeing another option and they're only seeing just one side, which is the conservative side, the far right side, that's all they're going to get. So you can't, if you're not giving them other information, how can you expect anything to change? So that's kind of the whole point of it. Sorry for the long-winded rant, but I really admire what she is doing, and because it's not just that I like how the content that she makes. She's actually putting her foot putting her money where her mouth is.
Yeah.
She's putting her time where her mouth is. She is not just content just to speak, to talk shit. She shows up and she fights, and she's not I admire the shit out of her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Go off, King.
If
like
anyone
Jimmy says, go off.
1,000 miles to what did I call it? It was 1,000 miles to Memphis. There's a website, 1,000milestomemphis.com, I believe is the website. And if for anyone watching this, I know it's not like a crazy big audience, but if you're interested, you can sign up. You don't have to do the whole 1,000 miles. Apparently, you can sign up for a leg of it. You can sign up to do just part of it. If you can't go yourself, you can donate to it, and it will help down ballot candidates in the South have a fighting chance.
Yeah, if I remember, I'll put that in the notes or the description. Show notes. What am I saying? It's not a podcast.
Yeah. But it's especially important since a large portion of the Voting Rights Act from '64 got gutted earlier this year, and within a week, the conservatives in the South fucking have redrawn maps to split up primarily black districts in the South.
Wow.
I shit you. So learning more about like the implementation of this shit. So like when Brown versus Board of Education, right? When it was to desegregate the schools, to actually allow, you know, people of color in the same schools as white kids. It took decades to enforce it in the South. Decades, right? So there's a Supreme Court decision, and it took decades for the South they just dragged their feet the whole time.
That's why Juneteenth is so far after the actual emancipation.
There's a Supreme Court decision earlier this year, and within a week, maps were redrawn.
Wow.
Within a week. One, I believe it was in Mississippi. One, there was a tornado warning where it was literally like it was like state of emergency tornado warning, not just the one you get on your phone that says, hey, there might be one, be careful. Like, it was like fucking tornado warning. And They didn't even delay the vote. They voted for it in the middle of a tornado. They could have waited a day. It wouldn't have made a fucking difference. But they were that eager to vote to break up a black district in Mississippi or Alabama. I don't know which state specifically. You can look this up. They were that fucking eager to do it. And that's when I hear shit like that, when I hear people like, oh, racism isn't nearly as bad as it used to be. They were in the middle of a tornado warning that they were willing to break up one of the only black districts in their state in the middle of a fucking state of emergency. Something that literally could have waited a day. Like, if they planned on doing this, they could have waited a week. It wouldn't have made a fucking bit of difference in terms of midterms. They were so excited to do this that they risked a tornado. They risked their lives in a tornado warning. That's fucking crazy to me.
And I wish they had all got blown the hell away. Well,
okay, I'm done going off.
Okay, it's like it's valid, worthy, but it is after midnight, and I've been crashing hard for the past hour. Damn. Well, yeah, everybody.
That's a way to go out, right?
To smithereens is the worst way to be blown. Yeah,
just an FYI. You're not wrong.
Just in case you know, there are better ways to be blown. And if you all excuse me, I would like to get to them. So. Let's call it a night. Let's call it a morning, I guess. We don't usually go till past midnight. Holy crap.
I scared my dog.
Oh, Harvey.
Poor Harvey.
Well, thank you, Josh, for your time. Thank you, Jimmy, for the chats, and everyone else who popped by. I think it was just the love of my life. It is time for us to go. Thank you, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Drink more water. Go to therapy. And donate to some good causes. If you can.
Hell yeah.
If not, spread some news around. Tugs and snugs, homies. Everyone, I wish everyone a good tug and a good snug tonight. Stay frosty. Have a good one. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Bye.